afternoon. Wendy Bell Radio was live. I'm already
it's still Wendy Bell Radio, even if I'm not Wendy Bell. You can still
Right.
say Wendy
I'm
Bell
already-
Radio.
I'm
The
already for next
show
week.
is live.
I'm already
Just saying.
for next week.
Not saying, just saying.
Wendy is off this week, but please don't forget, this is obviously JD Recker. Please don't forget that next week the show moves from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we hope you all move with us. Hope we gain some more people. We're under 1,000 people away from hitting 100,000 followers on Rumble. So if you haven't,
How many?
900 and I don't know, like 50, 55. So if you haven't followed us yet, please do. And if you don't like the song this morning on the thumbnail, blame Amanda. She did the thumbnail and the song today, so it's her fault, not mine. And I know today sounds different because I'm not using the mic.
It's okay, man.
He's going to do the pledge.
Oh, yeah, I got to check the chat. I can't keep up with this chat. You know, I barely know how to read. That's why
Why am I not surprised?
I only do audio books. So when there's this many chatters, it's sort of like, oh, okay, so that song. Oh, hello. No, wait. Oh, echo, Brock.
You have an echo?
That's what Dan says you're echoing. Mm-hmm. That's what Dan says you're echoing.
I should not be echoing.
All right, let's try again. Is there an echo? No echo here.
Yeah.
No echo here.
Not be echo.
No echo here. They're echoing, but there's no echo.
All
right, let's try again.
Here's what it is. Because it's set up different, you're going to hear it sound like I'm farther away because my mic is farther away. So it's not necessarily an echo. It's just the way it's going to sound.
It's going to be bad.
This is why I try to explain these things. Yeah, it sounds different because it has to sound different. There's nothing I can do about it unless I want to use 4 different sets of headphones. So
you can fly me out there. I'll just do it from studio.
Now see, your volume just went down again.
Uh-oh, see? Already.
Hold on.
I'm turning it back up manually.
It didn't do it on my end.
I didn't touch it. Don't blame me. Oh, I need to turn this off. There we go. Ah, much better. I can hear you.
Let me start by saying 20% off all of August Sniper. Disinfectwithsniper.com, 20% off. You guys have ordered a ton of stuff already. I was golfing with my friend yesterday, and he was getting orders while we were on the golf course. So thank you, but it's 20% off all month, just Sniper. But there's plenty of stuff there that you can get. It's all organic, the Knockout, the Harmony. There's seasonings. There's Mouse Magic. There's Deadweed Brew on there. So there's a bunch of things you can get. But Sniper this month, for the month of August, is 20% off. So I would say stock up. I don't know when 20% is going to come around again. Probably, maybe around Black Friday. So,
or maybe never.
No, I'll talk him into it.
This is your last chance.
It's not the mic, guys. The mic is basically just show today.
Are you done with the yeah, you are.
Yeah. Disinfectwithsniper.com. Check it out.
Nice. Disinfectwithsniper.com. 20% off for a limited time. Awesome. They're saying hello.
Don't tell me what to do. This is gonna be a
Can we
long
get-
week.
You've been saying that all morning. I think that she's your non-wifeful soulmate.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
you're just a totally
it's
different
gonna be a
person.
long week too because I have to get everybody ready for like the stations and for next week, rebuild my log. So next week's gonna be hit the ground running. So, all right, here we go.
Five, four, three, two, one. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family.
You know, you can be in the middle of a hurricane.
I'll speak on behalf of my colleagues. I think I can say we are all willing to work with anyone who's serious about doing the work of censoring the American people and advancing progress.
People can yell at you.
So I am going to tell you that we have to Trump.
North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I rise to announce that I will bring articles of impeachment against the president for dastardly deeds proposed.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things.
We're living in a different world. 70% of Americans say Trump is doing what he promised to do.
And in this business, right is still right. Even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again.
3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program. Filling in for Wendy Bell from Patriot TV, J.D. Rucker.
Good morning if you're on the West Coast or in the middle of the country, and good afternoon if you are my East Coast friends. It is so great. This is my favorite time of year, guest hosting for the Wendy Bell radio program. She is, of course, as you all know, the most amazing radio host in the world with the best producer in the world. And I have these occasional once or twice a year opportunities to be just showered in awesomeness because of the Wendy Bell Radio Army, because of Brock, and because of all of you people out there listening. My name is JD Rucker. As you know, I'm guest hosting for Wendy all week as she goes and travels the country to do her thing, whatever her thing is. I think she's dropping some people off, maybe going to visit Area 51, might just do something else and try to save the world, or at least save small portions of it. So and I'm already, I can't watch the chat. We're on radio, so the chat's got to stay off until I got to block it off, because I am a chataholic. I love looking at the chat, and you too, by going to wendybellradio.com, you too can follow along, catch the interim, catch in between breaks and all that good stuff as we talk to the live audience here at the Wendy Bell radio program. Quick intro for those who don't know, hopefully, Lord willing, you do, but just in case you don't, my name is JD Rucker. I am out here in California. Enough said, right? Except I am not a leftist. I am a staunch constitutional conservative. I am a Christian. I am a husband and a father. My wife and I have had 4 children. And that's about all the personal detail I'm going to give. People ask, though, and somebody asked the other day on my regular show, you know, how spread out are the kids? Yes, it is true. The rumors are true. I had them. My wife, God bless her soul, she had the 4 children across 4 different decades. That is right. We have everywhere from 30s, 20s, teens, and yes, even the young ones. My sites, for those who need to know, jdrucker.com. As the announcer voice mentioned, patriot.tv. We also run discernreport.com, and my show comes on immediately after Wendy's, which causes, on weeks like this, a logistical nightmare, but we're going to do it. We're going to actually do a full-blown 6 consecutive hours. I used to do that way back in the day. I used to actually do 6 hours on shortwave radio, and that was fun. but it was true radio. There was no video component to it. So I could sit here, I could be in my underwear, I could eat. But in today's world, and nobody wanted that visual. In today's world, because we're here on the Wendy Bell radio program, and because of the amazing aspects of not just radio, but also Rumble, I have to put on a suit every day, and praise God for that, because you should set yourself up for success. You should look good at all times, especially if you are out with the people. So check out my sites. Check out, of course, my show, which comes on immediately after the Wendy Bell radio program. But today, it's not about me. It's about you. It's about America. It's about making sure that we save this great and wonderful nation. Flags up. Ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. So yeah, with Wendy out for this week, I've got a lot of shows planned, probably enough to fill, 30, 40 hours worth. Thankfully, I talk fast, so it's probably only going to be crammed into a total of 5 or 6 hours. We'll see how it goes. Who are we saving from today? There are many, many enemies to the United States of America, and we try to fight them all, whether it's the globalists, the Satanists, the Marxists, and that's who we're focusing on today, the Democrats and their Marxist overlords, the people that have been taking them over. The Democratic Socialists of America have not only infiltrated the Democrat Party, but they have taken it over. I mean, pretty much it's done. They're over. Chuck Schumer's days numbered. Nancy Pelosi, she saw the writing on the wall. She already bailed. She's only there to get some final stock tips before having to sneak the stock tips out somewhere way else. but the rest of the old guard of the Democrat Party, it is gone. And we've got some clips today of, we can call them Democrats because technically they still are, but they're already talking about being former Democrats. And that seems to be the prevailing theme within the party. There are those who are sticking with it, and it's a majority of them sticking with it, right? They're like, well, big tent, we got to adapt. Maybe we can control this crazy Marxist animal known as the Democratic Socialists of America. Then you got those that are like, this is bad. This isn't the party that we signed up for, like the John Fetterman types. And then you have the majority of the voters. And unfortunately, the majority of the voters have no idea. Okay, they just don't get it. They are out there. Oh, if it's a Democrat, that means it's against Trump. So we've got to vote for that, no matter how insane they are, no matter how bad it gets. We have to vote against Trump, no matter what. Oh, orange man bad, orange man bad. Oh, that's my my best Democrat impression. Oh, it was awful, but you get the idea. They will vote against Trump no matter what, even if it means voting for those who want to destroy America. And make no mistake, they do want to destroy America. So today, for the Monday episode of the Wendy Bell radio program with guest host JD Rucker, we will be talking about, I wouldn't say it's a straight line, okay? It's sort of a bumpy road. We're going to be talking about certain Democrats, certain Democratic Socialists, and we're going to work our way up to the person who I believe truly represents what the Democratic Socialists of America are. Now, in the beginning, we're talking about not the beginning of the DSA, which was back in like the 80s. In the beginning of this quick rise, when people started, really paying attention to the DSA, was right around the time when Zohran Mamdani, was the New York primary. Zohran Mamdani had endorsed 3 candidates, DSA members, and all 3 of them won their primaries. And so it's like, oh crap, we got to pay attention to these guys. Nobody gave us the memo. It looks like the radicals are winning. It's like, oh, well, yeah, but that was New York. And then a couple more primaries later, it's like, holy crap, they're actually winning a lot of these primaries. So now we got to pay attention to them. Right. Well, around that time, you started seeing a lot of people going out there, a lot of their representatives that are like, okay, so we're just going to tell the truth. And I even gave them kudos a few weeks ago, but I gave them kudos. I said, compared to the Democrat Party, the one thing that we can say, they're crazy. The DSA is crazy. Their ideas are just out of this world. They want to get rid of the Senate. They want to basically neuter the presidency, remove the Supreme Court, have only essentially what you could call it even a parliamentary system where the Congress is the only true supreme branch of government and everybody else is secondary to them. This is just one of the many idiotic ideas they have. They want to get rid of, prisons, because if nobody's illegal, if nobody's committing any crimes, if there are no crimes, then why would we need prisons to lock anybody up? They don't have the answer to what to do with criminals, but that's okay. They don't have to have the answer because they have feelings. They say they want to get rid of the police, defund the police. They talk about this. They've been talking about this a lot. And yeah, when you ask them, and unfortunately, very few in legacy media are asking them these questions. When you ask them, well, what do we do? How do we stop the criminals? They're just like, well, there's different. We need to gut the system and rebuild it from the bottom up. We got to get it better or something. I don't even know. I have no idea what they're thinking. They don't know what they're thinking is the funny part. They just know they want to tear it down. Borders, that's been part of the Democrat ecosystem for a long time now, but they want to eliminate borders altogether. And they do it, but it's funny because they do it in a way, or they at least talk about it in a way that almost makes it sound palatable. And that's why I gave them kudos, not because of their ideas, but because they were willing to express their ideas. You look at the Democrat Party over the years, over the decades, and they've always been, the party of say one thing, do something else. And to be fair, Republicans are like that too, to some extent, but Democrats have always been worse at it. They've always flat out lied. Republicans have just not fulfilled their promises, right? Democrats, they will promise something and completely lie about it. Well, now, Democrat Socialists of America, they came out strong and bold. And they're like, yeah, we want to get rid of the Senate. Yeah, we want to get rid of police. Yeah, we want to get rid of borders. But things have been changing. Things have been changing actually quite a bit just in the last week or so. The Democrat Socialists of America are starting to lie a lot. They're backing away from their unapologetic and bold ideas because they keep saying the wrong things and doing the wrong things. And people aren't very happy with them. So, change things up, right? Make it better, I guess. Get this fixed. Make it more palatable, because they are actually starting to realize, oh my gosh, we're beyond just an idea. We might actually win elections. So I guess we got to start being more like politicians. When we come back, I'll be taking them down again. We're going to be talking about each one of them one at a time, not necessarily in order of worst to best to worst or worst to best or whatever. But I consider the worst of them all. So we'll be right back on the Wendy Bell radio program.
Okay.
No, I never know when I'm clear. Am I clear as soon as I say that?
As soon as you say goodbye,
Yeah.
the break,
We'll be right back.
give me 10 seconds.
Oh, okay. Easy
15
enough.
seconds.
My mic messing up. So,
well, I muted you once you said good, we'll be back. So,
oh
yeah, there's certain things with this system that it does this, and there's nothing we can do about it. We just have to grin and bear it. Once again, you guys
fly me out.
What's that?
Fly me out.
You guys, I would actually look. I would prefer that, to be honest with you.
We can go golf. You can show me how to swing a 9-iron.
You don't golf? You live in California. You don't golf?
I've never golfed in my entire life. I will never golf in my entire life. I don't even putt.
Why?
Don't
hate golf.
I didn't hate it. I just don't play it. Oh, I've got nothing against golf. I mean, there's got to be. It's very. relaxing, very social. It's a great sport. I'm all in favor of golfers. I'm just not one of them.
Yes, Wendy is taking her 2 youngest to college this week. So it's a big week for Wendy.
Mhm.
But is
Awesome.
but what makes it a good week is Wendy has a bunch of gold and silver. And she goes through Wendy Bell Radio or wendylovesgold.com. You too can go through wendylovesgold.com. Put it in your IRA, buy the gold bars, buy the silver rounds, buy silver bars. They have plenty of stuff for you to shop from, choose from. Diversification is why you get into the precious metals. They have the palladium, all the other stuff they have. But wendylovesgold.com, wendylovesgold.com, 855-927-5557. That's just for you guys. 855-927-5557. Yeah, wendylovesgold.com. Check it out. If the commies take over, you're going to need all the gold and silver you can get.
Yes, you will.
And a note that you guys will not hear bumper music. So just there's that too.
Oh, will I hear it?
No.
Oh. So
As soon as I go off screen is your cue.
5 seconds or straight up?
Here we go. Just straight up.
Democratic Socialists of America are a plague on this nation. And the entire name is a lie. Are they really truly democratic? No, they're not. They claim it, and AOC over the weekend was talking about how that's this true separator between, somebody asked her what's the difference between Democrats, or not Democrats, but against socialism and communism, and she says it's the democratic nature. That's what makes the difference. And that's a very convenient line, and it's a very well-placed line because it resonates with Democrats. It's like, okay, it's not communism, it's democratic socialism, and it's still got the democratic angle to it, right? But it's not truly democratic at all. Well, what about socialism? Is it socialism? No. Their ideas do not fall under the category of socialism. Socialism is about appropriate redistribution of wealth. And when I say appropriate, it never works, obviously, but appropriate redistribution of wealth, not a tearing down of the entire system. Socialism, as odd as it may sound, can work within a capitalistic society, whereas communism cannot. What they're talking about, their ideas, don't fit at all with capitalism. At all. I mean, it's not even close. So you can't really say that they're democratic. You can't say they're socialists. And are they of America? Not at all. They are against America. You listen to any of these people, any of them, especially if they're in front of the right audience, especially if they're talking to their people. Oh, they hate America. They absolutely despise America, and they adore China. They adore the Communist Chinese Party. Chinese Communist Party. Sorry. Either way. The Communist Chinese, it's all just bad. But not to the Democratic Socialists of America. The DSA adores them. So they are a contradiction within a contradiction within a contradiction. And unfortunately, it seems as if they are heading in a direction that's going to get them at least some seats. The question is, can we stop them from getting enough to have any real power? Because if they have some power after the midterm elections, then they are going to be poised and ready to make some real waves come the 2028 election. If they can be neutered, stopped now, if they can have a very disappointing midterm election, then maybe the Democrats can regroup. Maybe they can start kicking some of them out. Maybe the Republicans will have some more ammunition to be ready for what I consider to be the most important election of our lifetimes, and that is the 2028 election. A lot of people thought it was 2024. Some say it was 2020. To me, 2028 is the election that will determine our true future, because not only is it a pivotal time because it'll be the end of the Trump era, but also because at that point, we will see. I would imagine, I would suspect, based on the trajectory of the world, the trajectory of the nation, that it's going to be a very disturbing time. I want to start, and we'll play the clip itself later after the break, but I want to go ahead and set up the clip first with some information about one of these DSA guys, one of the worst. I would consider him to be amongst the worst, and he doesn't even claim to be DSA, to be clear, but he is. His name is Abdul El Sayed. He just won his primary last week, beat the establishment Democrat, the Chuck Schumer endorsed Democrat, for the candidacy for U.S. Senate, and he is a radical. Again, he doesn't claim the DSA mantle, but membership in the DSA is different from embracing DSA ideologies, which he does. And the DSA embraces him as well, as they've made very crystal clear with their celebrations. Over at Red State, Abdul El Sayed slips up, makes revealing admission about taxes and healthcare. And again, we're going to play the clip after the break, but I wanted to get you guys the prompting, because how this is being framed, I completely disagree with. I think that they are incorrect. I'm going to ask you all to see if you agree. Michigan Democrat Senate candidate or nominee Abdul El Sayed hit the Sunday talk shows, including Meet the Press, to promote his campaign. He's facing difficulties because his far-left positions and his associations with extremists like Twitch streamer Hassan Piker. He's having difficulties with Democrats who supported Representative Haley Stevens, as well as the working class, which it's funny because they claim to be representing the working class, and yet they don't. Just to put into perspective, Dr. El Sayed has 3 homes, sort of a, champagne socialist, whatever, limousine leftist. What is that? What they call them now? He's like Bernie, Bernie's rich. He used to go after the millionaires until he became a millionaire. Now he has to go after the billionaires because he can't go after himself. Bernie would never do that. Neither would El Sayed. Meet the Press anchor, Kristen Welker, asked him about his closeness to the socialists and how he differed, for example. And he gave what they call not a great response. And again, I am going to play it. We'll play it after the break. But I wanted to get the preliminary out there because that's how Red State's positioning it. PJ Media positioned it very similarly. Fox News positioned it. It's like, oh my gosh, he's so busted. He slipped up. It's a whoops. Clean up on aisle 4. They're trying to throw out all this. And I'm just watching it. I'm looking at him. And I'm thinking to myself, not only did he not slip up, he dodged the question, but just because you dodge a question and say it the way that he said it doesn't mean that he slipped up. It means that he was attempting to reframe what they were saying about it and do it in a way that was semi-positive. And you and I might hear it and we're like, oh, it's so crazy. He's talking about single-payer healthcare. He's talking about Medicare for all. It's terrible. Nobody's going to listen to it. They will. They will, and they will. You have to remember, we're surrounded on every side by people who may or may not agree with us. So we'll play that when we get back here on the Wendy Bell Radio program. I cut it close, so Brock he's going to leave me hanging.
No, you cut it. I had to cut you off.
I got it too close. I forgot. I looked at the thing because you sent 50, and I looked at my watch, and it said I cut off at 41. The 10-second thing I got to remember that.
Yeah, better to be short than long.
That's not what I've heard.
Well, in this instance, I don't know about the rest. In this instance, this El Sayed cut. They're so just about taking your money. And if you already don't think taxation is theft, these people straight up want to just steal from you.
Oh, I thought that was a segue to it. It sounded like a perfect segue to which is why you should have.
No. Well, if a segue is what you want,
That was a great one.
I can give you a segue, with you doing 5 hours today, you're going to need your Blood Flow 7. Bloodflow7.com. It gives you the energy you need. It helps you. I take it every morning. I juice up. I take the triple X. Wendy takes the regular blood flow every day, and you've heard her tell you about how it helps her throughout the day. She doesn't nap. She still works out. She still goes home and does everything she needs to do. For her, it's picking up sticks. I don't know why she loves to pick up sticks so much, but that seems to be her thing. Every time I'm picking up sticks. I mean, how many sticks you have to pick up? But Blood Flow 7 allows her to do that by Juvenon. Bloodflow7.com. Bloodflow7.com. And a bunch of you guys have used it, and she's got review after review after review of people who loved it, and it's helping them. It helps me. I noticed a difference right away. I did. It's, in every aspect of my life. I don't nap anymore either, which is a good thing, because when you get up early, when you nap in the middle of the day, it kind of screws with you at night. So bloodflow7.com, bloodflow7.com. I think you get 30% off your first order. I think the promo code's Wendy. Pretty sure the promo code's Wendy. But yeah, bloodflow7.com. Check it out. They have other stuff there too. Just to keep you away from big pharma, which doesn't everyone want to get away from big pharma?
Yes, we do. I do. For those who don't know, I don't actually freeze up last time. For the sake of Brock's sanity, I decided to no longer do the take me completely off the screen thing when he does his promos.
No, he freezes.
I freeze myself. I freeze myself like this. I'm not a ventriloquist. This is just how I'm able to do it. And we have to do that because, technically speaking, I'm not supposed to be on the screen during their promos.
I don't care if you are or not. It's up to you.
It's not you. It's the like, you're not supposed to have other people. Like, it's an endorsement thing, right? It's like, right. Oh, Rucker's endorsing Blood Flow 7, which I don't care. I mean,
Wendy 30 is the discount code. There you go. Thank you.
Right. Wendy 30. Got it. Yeah. So no, it's just me doing the staring contest. Can you look into my eyes, and can you look away? Because I can't. I'm stuck. No, wait, I can. See how that works? Brilliant.
Long week. Long week. That's all I'm gonna say is long week.
It's always, I don't want to be, I really don't want to be so stressful for Brock, but somehow I am. I watch the show and he's so happy with Wendy.
It just changes everything when she's not here for show setup, like the way we do the show, the way the setup for the actual setup of running commercials and stuff like that changes. And I don't do it that often. I don't do it that often because she doesn't take time off. Neither one of us really take time off. So we don't.
I'm not going to make it any easier for you this week, Brock.
No, I know.
I want you to know that. I'm going to, this morning, I click the link and I get into the studio with Brock. And he's like, "Can you hear me?" I said, "No." He said, "You can't hear me?" I said, "No, I can't hear you."
Well, the thing is you were shaking your head while you were doing it. So I'm thinking, oh, he can't hear me, but he's shaking his head while he's saying it.
Yeah.
I will age at least 10 years.
He used very bad words at me. Very bad words.
Why you got up with me, I believe was the terminology.
Long week. Long week. All I got to say. And I haven't even.
I'm going to start drinking here.
I'll
start drinking here.
Have his early afternoon beer.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Talk.
Hello. It was literally no music. Hello, welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. Apologies for that. I went too long on the last one, and I didn't hear anything in this one, so I didn't know whether I was supposed to say anything or not. Apparently I was, and so I will speak to you all. Abdul El Sayed, he is a very dangerous person. Before the break, I noted how everybody seems to be framing this as, oh, he messed up. Oh, he did so bad. I want you to listen. I want you to listen to what he says based upon my premise that even though he dodged the question, he still said it the way that he was supposed to say it. And I want you to think along the lines as being from a left-leaning perspective. If you were a Democrat, which maybe you are, but if you were a Democrat, would his answer come across as, oops, he screwed up? Or would you be thinking, that makes sense? Play clip one.
Make Medicare free and universal if you increase taxes. So if you are elected and make this push, would you need to increase taxes?
As I've said across this campaign, I am for taxing billionaires their wealth.
What about people who make less than $1 billion and less than $1 million, though, Dr. El Sayed? What about people making less than $1 million?
So for the average person, and you look at your W-2, if you're an employee who gets paid every 2 weeks or 4 weeks, after you pay your taxes, the next biggest check that comes off the top of your pay stub is to your health insurance company. So imagine instead of paying that to your health insurance company, whose CEO makes $20 million a year, instead you paid a little bit more in taxes for healthcare that you wouldn't lose if you lost your job or turned 26 or got married or got divorced. I think all of us would be a lot more interested in that kind of a system if we knew that our healthcare would be free at the point of care and would be free without having to worry about losing it in general. So there's an opportunity here, I think, to trade what we give to a big corporation who gets to decide who we get to see and who we don't for a little bit more paid into FICA. And I think that's a trade that's worth making. I think the broader public understands that that's a trade worth making, considering how many people are holding medical debt, a third of all Michigan households right now.
Just to be very clear, you're describing this trade-off. You are effectively acknowledging that people making less than $1 million could see their taxes go up. I just want to be very clear. Is that a yes?
I'm saying that we'd be paying for healthcare in a different way. Instead of paying a health insurance company whose CEO makes $20 million, I would much rather pay for durable healthcare into a government, which, of course, we all know provides healthcare for seniors who need healthcare the most. So if I'm trading paying a CEO to make more money or paying government to guarantee me healthcare.
I'm sorry, but as far as obviously I disagree wholeheartedly with the concept that he's describing. But if I'm thinking about it from the perspective of an average Democrat voter in Michigan who may be paying quite a bit of money currently for their health insurance, and he's saying, hey, why would you give all that money to a health insurance CEO? Why not just pay it to the government, have it taken directly out that way, and have healthcare that's free? Now, to this audience, obviously none of that jibes. It's like, you just pay for it and then it's free. We think logically. And I'm not trying to say that there are no logical thinkers amongst Democrats, but let's call it what it is. They are far more likely to fall for that sales pitch, to fall for that strange gobbledygook that he put out there. They might hear that, and a lot of them will hear that and think, yes, no to CEO, yes to free health care. So the framing here, again, we saw this on Fox News. I saw it on at least 3 or 4 outlets and a dozen X accounts, prominent X accounts, saying, oh, look, he screwed up. Don't think like that. You're not his audience. He doesn't care if there's nothing that he could have said that would make you think, oh, yes, let's go to Medicare for all. He doesn't care what you think about it. He cares what other people think. And this is where it becomes incumbent on us as patriots, us as, hopefully, Lord willing, lucid and intelligent people, to be able to counter that argument. let's give Welker at least a little bit of credit. She did give some pushback. She tried to get the answer. So just to be clear, let's make sure that we got this right. You're saying that people's taxes are going to go up even if they make less than $1 million. And his reply was, people would pay for health care in a different way. Instead of paying the CEOs, they would be paying for their own free health care. That message can resonate. And unfortunately, it's one that, considering the state of the economy, considering the state of media, considering all of this stuff, that can be very powerful. Do not look at Abdul El Sayed and think, oh, nothing to worry about here. Do not think, oh, you know what? We've got this one in the bag. They didn't vote. Look at the polls. Don't look at the polls. I haven't checked lately, but I know that shortly after the primary, that he had come out and he was actually ahead in many of the betting markets. Those are more accurate, in my humble opinion, than any poll. And they had him as more likely to win in the general election. And to be clear, there's approximately, there are 6 Senate seats, right? 6 of them that are up for grabs. North Carolina Democrats Rory Cooper's probably going to win. Okay. You've got Maine. That one, as much as I'd like to say that, I'm not a fan of Susan Collins, but compared to DSA member Troy Jackson, she's far better, right? Maybe not far better, but she is better. You've got this race here in Michigan with a non-DSA but radical guy, an Islamist. He's not just a democratic socialist, in practice, not in name, but in practice. But he's also very much an Islamist. He does want, and he will attack, and I'm not going to play the clip, but over the weekend, he did go after those who want to ban Sharia law in the United States of America. Why would he do that? And why would he care unless he wants Sharia law? Now, there was a lot of, he wasn't saying that he wants to impose Sharia law in America. What he was saying was that he doesn't want to outlaw Sharia law in America. And I just want to slap people when I hear stuff like that. It's dumb. But again, unfortunately, far too many people are able to and willing to be swayed by the devil tongues, as some would call them. He is dangerous. And of the 6 races, that's the one between that and Texas. Those are the 2 that I'm most focused on, because those are the 2 that the gap between the Republican and the Democrat is the widest. Those are the 2 races where we have by far the most to lose, because it's not just one vote in the Senate. It's not just a radical ideology versus a conservative ideology. It's the faith component to it. Because what El Sayed represents is more than just a Marxist, more than just another Democrat vote, more than just his fulfilling his promise to go after Trump or to lay the groundwork for this or Medicare for all or any of that stuff. He does represent a shift. There are no Islamists amongst senators in the U.S. Senate. He would be the first. And that's a trend that we don't want to start. We're already seeing the challenges that we're having with people like Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, that's in the House. If and when it starts to spread to the Senate, that is a very dangerous direction. Now, to be clear, it's not a, he's against Muslims. It's not about that at all. I'm against Islamists. Islamists are those who would want to impose Sharia law in the United States of America, and there's a very big distinction there. Some will argue, I'm sure I'll hear it later on during my show, there is no difference. I've heard a lot of people, Amy Meck says there is no difference. There's no such thing as an Islamist versus somebody who practices Islam. If they practice Islam right, there's an Islamist. I get it. I understand. But there are those, and I know some, there are those who basically, just because somebody is a Muslim doesn't mean that they want to spread Sharia law. And some would argue, and I've made this argument myself, that if they don't want to spread Sharia law, then they're not a true Muslim. But today, here on the radio, on the Wendy Bell radio program, we won't necessarily go down that particular road. And I do apologize for the in and out. I'm going to try to work over the break on getting this thing to not always auto correct me. So we will get to that. Quick note, got this story over at American Thinker. Just one final piece to the El Said discussion. This is a article by Civis Americanus. Abdul El Said, the enemy inside the gates. Michigan Democrats nomination of Abdul El Said over Representative Haley Stevens should underscore what most of us have known for quite some time. The enemy is not at the gates. The enemy is already inside them. El Said, which westernized as El Cid or the Lord, whom I call El Mufsid, that's the evildoer, for reasons shown below, campaigned openly with Hassan Piker. And we'll talk about him later. Piker, a leftist provocateur who was one of the biggest boosters on the campaign trail, has a history of making repugnant anti-American and anti-Israel comments, such as saying the U.S. deserved 9/11 and claiming it doesn't matter if things occurred during the Hamas October 7th terror attack. Somebody who says that the United States deserves to have almost 3,000 of its citizens, including emergency responders and guests, burned alive by Al-Qaeda is no better than a German-American. Anybody who said we deserve Pearl Harbor, or he also, you got Graham Plattner, whose thing got out, but who called Army veteran Teddy Daniels a dumb MFer who didn't deserve to live. This is who we're facing, folks. This is the type of enemy that we have to address. And when I say that El Said, it's a tough call between him and James Tallarico. It's a tough call as to which senator is the most destructive, is the most damaging if they were to win. There's no point of even trying to weigh and balance. They're both awful. They both represent existential threats to the United States of America, not just because of their status, their potential, God forbid, their status as a future senator, but more importantly, because of what they represent from a faith perspective. We are a Christian country, and that means something. We're always a Christian country. Now, there are those out there, I know a lot of you, many of you listening today might be like, well, even if you just believe in the biblical value, maybe you don't believe in Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, but you do understand and believe in the Constitution, that itself was put together by godly men who attempted to impose natural rights, not impose, but to appreciate and accept natural rights. These are things that we, as Americans, should embrace. After the break, we will move on from Abdul El Said and go to everybody's favorite Marxist, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, right here on the Wendy Bell radio program.
All right.
So there is no audio cue. I see you gone. I just speak.
Yes. Once I'm off screen, count to 5 and start talking. Count to 5. And I'm doing your mic. So when you drop, you may drop for them. But
I may drop for what?
It goes in and out, but like for the radio, they can't tell because I'm moving your mic up and down if I have to.
Okay. It does bug me. I got to figure it out. I might have to just go buy a new mic, which sucks.
Why?
Huh?
I'm wondering what's picking it up. What's changing it? We've tried it on StreamYard and we've taken it off the auto.
No, you put it back on auto, remember?
No, I took it back off.
Oh, okay. Well, then I don't know. I'll probably just have to get a new mic. I've been needing to anyway. I need to get a soundboard is what I need.
That would be optimal.
Yeah. That would help a bunch. But I'm cheap.
Well, let me say this. If you live in southwestern Pennsylvania, you've just had torrential downpours the last couple days, which means your roof might have leaked. Your gutters might have overflown. Your siding and soffit and fascia may have been destroyed. If it is, call Ireland Contracting, 1-800-NEW-ROOF, 1-800-NEW-ROOF. And then while Wendy's off, perfect time to call Dan if you need exterior lighting done. Same thing, 1-800-NEW-ROOF. Ask for Dan. Say, hey, get me in before Wendy gets back. All the stuff that isn't sexy on your house, the roof, the gutter, the soffit, the fascia, the windows, the doors, they do it all. And they're just good people. So IrelandContracting.com, IrelandContracting.com, or 1-800-NEW-ROOF. 1-800-NEW-ROOF. I'm going to blow through these today.
It's going to be a long week.
Wow.
Did you hear the lady, the QVC wig lady?
I don't know what she was trying to say.
Blowout.
Did she say something else?
She did.
What did she say? Blow.
She said, yeah.
There's a job to do.
There is a job to do.
Oh, okay.
And she caught herself, but it was worse because then later she tried to say salon, and she ended up saying shalom. So it was funny.
What people don't understand, I worked with a lady who worked for QVC, and she's like, "You literally just keep talking."
Oh,
she's
yeah.
like, "You don't stop talking," and she's like, and they give out, "You're selling this many in your ears," and I don't know how she did it, but she's like, yeah, you just keep talking. And sometimes you're talking about stuff that doesn't even make sense. She said, you feel like you're talking about stuff that doesn't even make sense. So I'm sure flub ups. Remember, you will not hear music and you need to be out on time today.
5 seconds. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. I'm your guest host. In case you are waiting for Wendy's voice, you won't hear that. You'll hear JD Rucker's voice. That's me. And there's a voice that I want to play for you that over the years has really turned into it hurts me to hear her. It hurts me. It's like the worst voice, I think, ever. And here she is saying, a lot of people are saying, oh, this positions her for her presidential run. Yeah, I think it sort of does. Play clip 2.
But by the way, just a quick definitional thing. What, in your mind, is the difference between socialism and communism?
I think, to me, the fundamental differences, there's many.
Yeah.
One prevailing one is democracy. And I believe that democratic socialists are fundamentally pro-democracy. And we believe in the ballot box. We believe in respecting the outcomes of elections and governing democratically and ensuring that the ideas and policies that are implemented are won through popular vote and popular opinion. And so I think that's why so much of what we focus on is also making sure that we are providing for the majority of Americans, guaranteeing health care, raising wages, strengthening the right to a union. And I think that that's at its core what we're about.
Are you still a member of Democratic Socialists of America?
Of the New York City chapter.
The New York City chapter, not the national.
No.
Now, here's the funny part. We'll get to it here in a second. You'll hear during a different clip, you'll hear why she's only part of the New York chapter and she's not a part of the national chapter. There was actually a very specific and quite comical reason why she's not. But here's the thing. You'll notice in the beginning, I said that we're going to sort of take it in a straight line, a little bumpy, but I'm going to take it from the from the not so awful all the way to the worst. I started with El Said, so he's obviously pretty darn awful. But AOC, compared to the other guys, is not. Now, at least she's positioning herself as not being all that awful. In reality, she is. She's going to be the worst of the worst, but she's really trying to pivot. She's trying to do her thing and make it seem as if she's not so radical, while still trying to maintain her radical credibility. The Gateway Pundit posted an article over the weekend. AOC says she hasn't ruled out the possibility of a 2028 presidential run or a primary against Chuck Schumer. Reality is that she is going to run for president unless it appears that somebody moves up, somebody steps up, and it looks like she really doesn't have a chance. Then she will pivot to a Senate run and try to take out Chuck Schumer. And she will. I don't think there's any doubt, unless something goes horribly wrong with the DSA, with the radicals, unless there's a massive change in the sentiment of the Democrat Party, the electorate, she will easily take out Chuck Schumer. I mean, he won't even run. At that point, he'll be like, you know what? I've been doing this long enough. I'll retire. He won't like to. He doesn't want to retire, but he's not going to end his career with an embarrassing primary loss in his state, especially to somebody like AOC, who he despises. But according to the article, Firebrand Socialist Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez said nothing is off the table in 2028 during an interview with ABC's Jonathan Karl. I'm focused on winning the midterms. I'm running for Congress right now, she said, while leaving the door open to a presidential bid or a challenge to current Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. This comes as AOC leads the Democratic field in New Hampshire, historically the first in the nation. It won't be. No, they're going to try to do everything they can. The Democratic National Committee is going to try to do everything they can to prevent one of the radicals from getting the nomination. I don't know if they're going to go for it's hard. I mean, at this point, if I had to pick a front runner amongst the non-DSA people, I mean, I guess you could say Pete Buttigieg, but he can't do it. They know that. You could sort of say JB Pritzker if he's able to get over certain things. Gavin Newsom has been soured quite a bit, though he's definitely going to try. Gretchen Whitmer, they say that she's not running, but that could always change. There's lots of options here for them, and none of them are very good. Josh Shapiro and the Democrat Party that is now 80% against Jews. Shapiro's really not an option, even though people keep throwing him out there as, he's the lucid one. I'll tell you who I'd like to see run. It'll be hilarious. It'll be fun. John Fetterman. I want to see John Fetterman running for president and getting the nomination. And I'm not one of those guys that, John Fetterman should be a Republican. No, he shouldn't. He's not a Republican. Not by any means. But it is what it is. After the break, we will talk more about AOC and her eggs. I know, crazy, right? The Wendy Bell radio program. I almost missed it, Brock. Cut me close. Did you cut me off again? You cut me off again.
No.
You? Oh, good.
No.
Good. I made it.
No. You have 25 seconds from when you hear the music.
I don't hear the music.
You don't hear that undertone like the bumper music?
Mm-mm. I have to keep watching the clock. That's why I run the risk of missing. I don't hear any bumper music. That's why it's like, am I on? Am I off? I mean, I can hear it. It's sort of there, but it's really faint.
Okay.
So if I'm in the middle of talking and blah, 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 I can't hear it. Yeah, it's okay. I'll watch the clock. I've done this before.
That's what scares me.
You're so mean to me. You're never
I
mean
know.
to Wendy.
I know. Well,
you really do. You just have this thing where it's like if it's not Wendy, then I've just got to be.
Well, Wendy's mean to me, so apparently Wendy's mean to me. I get emails all the time. Wendy's mean to you.
I'm not mean to you, am I?
No, I don't think Wendy's mean to me. I care less.
We both care less. I couldn't care less, actually.
Yes,
I
I
care as
could
little
not
as
care
I possibly could. Now, I would care if Wendy was mean to me.
Would you?
I would. But then again, I'm cool.
You're her
How much time
favorite
do we got?
writer.
Say again?
You're her favorite writer.
Really?
Yeah, she said it multiple times on the show and privately.
Oh, well, I greatly appreciate that. I have been told that I'm a better writer than a show host, but you know what? I love hosting shows. I love talking. I don't like to read. I can actually type faster than I can read. Is that crazy?
So it is your mic.
Son of a gun! There it goes again. I'm throwing this out. We're not doing this anymore. I'm going to use the laptop mic. That'll work. Let's see. Lloyd in the chat says, I heard two talk show hosts arguing about who's smarter, AOC or Kamala.
Neither one.
No, they both are. They're both brilliant. For a Democrat, they're both very smart. Clearly. Okay. How much time? Oh, we got some time. I'm going to grab me a... Nope, I got enough. Never mind.
Well, while you do whatever you're going to do, I'm going to tell you that Health Revolution, since we talked about healthcare with El Said thinking the government can run it, we all know that anything the government does, they're going to run into the ground. Health Revolution, I'm just going to read this. I'm just going to do it. If you get your health insurance through the ACA marketplace, to me, that's government. You could be paying hundreds of dollars more every month than you need to for coverage that you'll never use. And she talked about Michael using it and saving money and now being off her plan. He's paying for stuff he needs. It's almost like an a la carte. Don't give me the 700 channels that I'm not going to watch. Just give me what I need. He's 26. He doesn't need to have maternity coverage. So this is what Health Revolution offers. If you're 58 years old, do you really need maternity coverage? Our friends at Health Revolution offer private health insurance plans backed by an excellent rated company that you can use any doctor and only meet a deductible if you're admitted to the hospital. If you're under the age of 65 and reasonably healthy, you could save 30 to 60% of your monthly premiums. These plans are not income-based, so they're no surprise tax bill either. You can get these plans anytime throughout the year, which is so frustrating with the ACA in the healthcare system that you have to join at certain times or you can't change. You can get these plans anytime throughout the year, just not during open enrollment. You don't have to wait. Stop overpaying for your health insurance today and call Health Revolution 800-868-6187, 800-868-6187, or info.healthrevolution.net, info.healthrevolution.net. I know the guy behind it, and Tom is a great guy. You guys saw me do. He came on with me on my channel, and we did probably an hour and a half of healthcare and coverage because they've made it so confusing. We did it around the time of when they were talking about government shutdown and people losing their healthcare. He's just a wealth of knowledge and good people, and info.healthrevolution.net.
Nice. Always have to be very conscious, by the way, of the radio. And that's why, anybody who's heard my show, that there are Muslims, and then there are those who pretend to be Muslims. And the ones that pretend to be Muslims are what a lot of people call moderate, right? But if they're not following the Quran, it's like saying, he's a Christian, he just doesn't do what the Bible says to do. Well, that's not a real Christian. Same thing with Islam. But again, because we're on radio and because it's Wendy's show, I don't want to get her in trouble or get Brock any calls. So
I wouldn't care. You say whatever you want. Just don't swear.
I swear I won't swear.
Well, there you go. I think people that would call or email think we care more than we do. Like,
oh, I get the emails myself.
Yeah. You know, like you have to understand, you have to have a thick skin. If someone doesn't like what you say, oh well, that's just the way it goes. All right.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family.
We're going to win so much. We're going to win at every level. We're going to win economically. We're going to win with the economy. We're going to win with military. We're going to win with health care and for our veterans. We're going to win with every single facet. We're going to win so much, you may even get tired of winning. And you'll say, please, please, it's too much winning. We can't take it anymore. Mr. President, it's too much. And I'll say, no, it isn't. We have to keep winning. We have to win more. We're going to win more.
3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program. Filling in for Wendy Bell from Patriot TV, J.D. Rucker.
Hour 1 is in the books. Hour 2 is already getting started. And I will admit, the days fly, or the time flies, the hours fly, the minutes fly, the seconds fly by, whatever I'm guest hosting on the Wendy Bell radio program. I am your guest host, J.D. Rucker. And as the ominous voice said, you can find me over at patriot.tv. Easiest place to find my stuff is probably jdrucker.com. And if you ever want to reach out and throw your complaints at me or ask me questions or complain, because that's usually what it is, you can do so directly by going to jdrucker.com/talk, jdrucker.com/talk. So AOC, apparently, it was in, of all the strange things that she does, and she does do a whole lot of strange things, this might have been the strangest. She was discussing and doing, I don't know, some weird, I couldn't watch it. She's very extremely popular on TikTok. She's the TikTok congresswoman. And I think it's TikTok, could be Instagram for all I know. I don't follow her, but I did see the clips on X, and it showed her, she's taking some sort of thing, injection, and she's like injecting it into her stomach and talking about how she's having her eggs frozen. I get it. Sometimes you want to overshare. I don't do it myself, but that's way TMI as far as I'm concerned. Like, I don't want to hear that from anybody, let alone a sitting member of Congress. There's nothing to be embarrassed about. I want to be clear. Okay. I'm not saying, I'm not trying to shame her for it. It's just like, that's something personal. That's about your family. That's about your creating of life. And I don't know, man. I mean, I tried to figure it out. I thought, well, maybe this is some sort of attack on President Trump. Maybe this is some sort of declaration of this. And I came to the conclusion that it's one of two things. Either she's just like, I am who I am. I'll say what I want to say. And I want to tell everybody that I'm having my eggs frozen. Or, that's possible, probably likely. Option 2, though, is that it was a distraction. And I think that might actually be what it was. This was just a way to get people talking about something with her that wasn't about the other things that she's doing. The other, we just heard just now, she's talking about not being aligned with the national DSA. I'll explain why she wasn't after the next break. But it could be something else. Maybe there's something else happening in her life. This is from last week. but it didn't get very much attention. And maybe she's been able to distract us so much that nobody noticed. The House Ethics Committee slams AOC's manipulation of rules to shield spouses' financial affairs from the public. This comes to us from the Washington Free Beacon. Andrew Kerr over there. The House Ethics Committee rebuked Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for simultaneously claiming her longtime partner, Riley Roberts, is and isn't her spouse. Well, which one is it? Well, it depends. Depends on who's asking. The committee's rebuke stemmed from a lengthy explanation Ocasio-Cortez's attorney provided to justify why the New York lawmaker accepted a free ticket worth $35,000 for Roberts to attend the 2021 Met Gala alongside her. At the time, that was a gift Ocasio-Cortez could only accept for her legally married spouse. But Ocasio-Cortez has never been legally married. She has lived with Roberts since 2016, and the pair became engaged in 2022, but there's no evidence the couple has legally tied the knot. And AOC hasn't been pictured wearing her engagement ring in public since November of 2023. She's like a gossip thing. I mean, it's like trying to follow the Kardashians, which I don't know. Is that still a thing? I don't know. I never did when it was popular. And if it's not popular, I wouldn't know because I never followed it. Despite all that, to Ocasio-Cortez, Roberts is considered a spouse. Her attorney, David Mitrani, explained to the House Ethics Committee in his May 16th letter. Roberts is only considered her quote-unquote spouse in context of federal campaign finance law, Mitrani said, an interpretation that Ocasio-Cortez has used to grant her partner several privileges, typically afforded only to legally married spouses of lawmakers. That includes securing Roberts his free ride to the 2021 Met Gala, again, worth $35,000 for whatever idiot's willing to pay to go to a party. I would actually probably turn down. I probably wouldn't turn down $35,000, but I would turn down a free ticket. Okay, if they like, yeah, just go here. You know, you don't even have to wear one of those crazy outfits. Just go show up and eat the free food. I still wouldn't go. Now, if they wanted to pay me $35,000, I would go. I would live stream it. I would make fun of them. Then I'd leave and I'd go cash my check. But as far as I'm concerned, I'll check my emails, but I don't think that offer has been made yet. We'll see. Mitrani revealed in his letter that Roberts has also owned a congressional spouse pin ever since Ocasio-Cortez entered Congress in 2019, a bauble that grants him access to the parts of the Capitol complex not accessible to the public. I didn't even know such thing existed. I've never been married to a sitting member of Congress that I know of. There are drawbacks to being a congressional spouse, such as having to disclose one's sources of income and financial holdings. But Roberts isn't subjected to those, Mitrani explained to the committee. That's because under the committee's financial disclosure guidance, Mr. Roberts is not considered a spouse. Well, isn't that convenient? Isn't that special? Isn't that so AOC of her to say, hey, he's my husband when he gets benefits and free stuff from it. He's not my husband when he has to talk about how much money he makes, because I'm a Democrat socialist, at least in the New York chapter. I'm going to be running for president in 2018. The last thing I need is for my weird, and he is weird, to be clear, my very weird spouse, non-spouse, fiance, non-fiance guy to be any baggage, which he is, and he will be. That's of all the people out there, we've seen it across the board, right? With mostly Democrats, they seem to have, for whatever reason, they seem to have just the worst spouses that hamper their campaigns. Don't even get me started on Gavin Newsom. He will, if he does run, if he is at least partially successful and makes it deep into the nomination race, he will learn that Jennifer Siebel Newsom is a very, very major piece of baggage for his campaign. Poor AOC. But she is running. I mean, let's be clear. She's going to run, and I would say at this point, and it's way too early to tell, but at this point, I would say that she is at least amongst the favorites. Okay. She's very well liked. Let's be clear about something with AOC, because I think a lot of times, when the rumors were started that she was going to be running this, last year even, Everybody's like, oh, yeah, bring it on. We'd love to have that. That's awesome. That's amazing. We'd love to go against AOC. Be careful what you wish for, folks. Because despite the fact that, yes, she does seem to lack a certain degree of intellect, but outside of that, she does have a very powerful personality. She does. And she has a charisma about her that is appealing to certain types of voters. And if she does get the right people behind her and if she gets the right running mate, she could be a challenge. I've said it many times, I think already, even just today, but be careful what you wish for. This is why it's very similar to what I said before. Before the Michigan primary, people were like, oh, yeah, there's a lot. They were going on Fox News and saying, oh, yeah, it'd be a gift to Republicans if El Sayed won because, in the polls, it's shown that he would lose a lot worse than Stevens. And, we want Rogers and this is going to be great. We want him to win. I'm like, no. Don't try to play 3D chess. Don't even try to play 2D chess when it comes to politics. You want not necessarily the worst candidate. You want the least damaging Democrat because you never know. You just never know. Not in this world. Without the Save America Act in place, you don't know what they can do. So don't sit there and say in Michigan, which is very deeply flawed and very heavily prone to election manipulation, to voter fraud. Don't tell me that El Sayed, we want him in. And don't sit there and say, oh, yeah, no, AOC is so dumb. Folks, they were able to make Joe Biden win in 2020. Win, allegedly. He didn't win. He didn't get 81 million votes. So do you really want AOC to be there? Oh, she's going to be a great candidate for us because she's dumb. Joe Biden could barely tie his shoes. All he could talk about was corn pop. I was talking about his dementia during the 2020 election. A lot of people were. We kept hearing, oh, no, he doesn't. Same people were saying he doesn't have dementia back in 2020. We're saying that he didn't have dementia back in 2024. And the dude has been suffering he's been deteriorating really since 2017, 2018. After leaving office, that's when his decline started. I remember watching his speech. If you want to see the difference, watch his speeches in 2020, compare them to his speech at the Democratic National Committee in 2016, or convention. When he spoke at the DNC, that was a different Joe Biden. I'm not prone to those types of conspiracy theories, but if there's one really crazy one out there that I could sort of almost believe, it's that they really did replace Joe Biden with somebody else. I'm not saying that's true. I'm just saying it wouldn't shock me. That's all. After the break, we'll move to my favorite non-Christian, pretending to be a Christian, James Tallarico. The dude's a disaster, and he too is one that we cannot take lightly. Be right back here on the Wendy Bell radio program. I have not made it to the clips, have I? I keep forgetting. You did 2 of the clips. Got it.
Yeah. All right. Can you handle
can't.
this yourself? We're going to run to the bathroom.
Oh, I can handle anything myself. Give me some. I'll juggle. Give me some balls. I can do the juggling. Let's see. I can tell a joke from last Friday. So if the bus stops at a bus station and a train stops at a train station, what happens at my workstation? All right. That's one of the best jokes I've got. Let me go with another one. This is a good one. I can't tell that one. So that's not a good one. All right. Enough of the jokes. I do want to say this, that with Wendy gone, with me doing this show, it has reinvigorated my desire to be working with people like Brock, working with people like Wendy. We did buy Patriot TV from General Michael Flynn a few other people a few months ago. Since then, we've got it. This is right now. I do one show there. We're going to try to get it built back up over time. But in the meantime, the key here is to make sure that we have enough patriots that are watching all of my shows. Well, all as in 2 a day. I do one just before Wendy Bell, and that show will move. Once her show moves, that show will move 2 hours earlier as well. So 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern will be Patriot TV. You can find that on the Patriot TV channel on Rumble. You can always just go to patriot.tv and find it there as well. I put the embed there, makes it a little bit easier to remember where it is. And again, that's 1 hour before the Wendy Bell radio show. When it concludes, we do what's called a raid, and we raid into the Wendy Bell radio program, as I did this morning. And then after this show, the Wendy Bell radio program, then we raid into, thanks to Demanda, we raid into, and others, we raid into the J.D. Rucker show, which is on the J.D. Rucker channel. And that's where we'll be doing it again today. It's a logistical nightmare, but I think I've got it figured out to where I can just keep going, just never stop, you know?
Oh, boy.
Yeah. And just don't tell Brock. All right. You back?
Yeah, as long as we get to at the end of the show, what you do after that is on you, right?
I'll always get us to the end of the show. That part's easy. Are
I've
you
been
doing
drinking
a spot or no?
No.
No spot? Are we
I've been
spotless?
drinking. No.
We're spotless. You gotta love that.
You might see me run during the breaks. I've been drinking a lot more water. It seems
that's
to be
good.
going right through me.
I need an aftershave or something. My face keeps breaking out. I keep seeing it on the screen. Got like weird splotches. And no, I did not have my eggs frozen. For those who didn't ask.
I would hope not. If you had eggs, her eggs got to be rotten.
Say again?
Her eggs have to be rotten. I mean, what's the shelf life? All right. Remember, you won't hear any sound until I leave the screen, and then you can start talking.
James Tallarico. I'm still torn. I am still torn between who is the most dangerous of the U.S. Senate candidates for the Democrats. It is between those two. And a lot of people say Troy Jackson. You know what? It's Maine. I hate to say it. I don't even really care. Not that I don't care about the state of Maine. I don't care as much about that race because it is Susan Collins. She sucks anyway. I'm not saying, oh, well, I'd rather have Troy Jackson. I wouldn't. But that one is a little bit less concerning because, he's a known entity, awful person. You've got El Sayed, who I've just already spoken about ad nauseum. We know that he is a true disaster waiting to happen. But what about James Tallarico? James Tallarico adds an element to all of this that other candidates do not. Because James Tallarico pretends to be, alleges that he is a pastor. He speaks before churches and does sermons. And so he's allegedly a pastor. He's allegedly a seminarian. He went to seminary and learned all this stuff, except nothing that he ever says when he's talking about the Bible, when he's talking about anything, it is always a distortion. It is always heretical. Bottom line, he is a heretic. And at this crucial junction in our history, the last thing we need is for there to be more perversions of the faith, more perversions of understanding of the Bible. And we definitely don't need more of it coming from Washington, D.C. So I get torn. El Sayed, we know he's bad. Tallarico, I'm telling you he's bad. And what's the difference between Tallarico and El Sayed? The biggest difference? Well, there's big differences, but one of the biggest differences is that at least with El Sayed, he is willing to speak the truth, even if it's awful. James Tallarico lies about every single thing. Okay. Everything. This guy and his campaign are just awful. They try to cover up his past. And just as an example, there was a resurfaced video. We're not going to play it because I don't want to spread his evils. But a resurfaced video shows him bragging about hiding illegal aliens and calling Texas Christians Christo-fascists. This is, again, supposedly an ordained pastor, seminarian, man of God. But he always talks really nicely about Islam and other religions. He does. But he seems to hate Christianity. How does that work for a Christian to hate Christianity? I don't get it. A video from a 2023 interview acquired by Fox News shows Democrat Senate candidate James Tallarico bragging about how his church sheltered illegal aliens from deportation, fought for LGBTQ rights in the 90s, and allowed an atheist to join the congregation in the 2000s. Now, to be clear, this isn't about, I'm not trying to judge, the church should do this, church shouldn't do that. That's not about that. It's the fact that this guy uses this as the basis for his political ideology. He doesn't just have, this is what my faith teaches me, and this is what I believe, this is how I do my politics, right? Joe Biden used to do that a lot. Well, I personally am against abortion as a Catholic, but I am, pro-choice as a politician, and it's an individual choice for the people. Tallarico does the opposite. He attempts to use his false version of faith to justify his political ideology. That's a perversion. That's heretical. And that is unacceptable. Tallarico summarized their hyper-progressive actions by claiming that Christianity is just another word for causing trouble. In reference to the church's progressive actions, Tallarico also expressed his belief that conservative Christians were Christo-fascists for advancing policies like bans on abortions. They must be fascists if they do what the Bible says. Sex change surgeries for minors. Those terrible Christians trying to prevent kids from being permanently disfigured. School choice voucher programs. Really? Does the Bible tell you that you shouldn't have school choice? I don't understand this guy. Unless you look at it from the framing that he is not just a Democrat. He's not just a radical, but he is a representation of anti-Christianity. And this is why it's a toss-up. Who's more dangerous? If I had to choose one today, as much as I don't like Abdul El-Sayed, as much as I'm concerned about his ideology and his Islamicism, I would say that James Tallarico is actually the more dangerous. Because again, he tries to represent himself as a man of faith, as a man of God. And he does and acts in the exact opposite manner. After the break, we'll talk about a new guy, another one of my favorites, Zohran Mamdani. Yes. Can't wait for that right here on the Wendy Bell radio program. Brock, did I lose you? I lost you.
No, were you able to hear at that time?
No, not really. I'm just watching the clock.
Okay. Get out a little early. I didn't lose you, but if you can get out like a few seconds earlier, whatever number you're at. Okay. If you're 41 on your clock, can you make it 35?
Okay. Why'd you cut me off? Did you cut me off again?
No.
It's going to be a long week. It's going to be a long week for you, man.
You'd think, but
easy week for me.
I've had worse.
Well, challenge accepted. Hold my beer.
Wow.
Hold my beer.
At least it stopped raining here.
It hasn't started raining here. Mm-hmm.
Does it rain much there?
It does not. Like ever.
Do you have real grass?
I do not.
Do you have fake grass?
I do. I've got the fakest possible grass
I have fake
imaginable.
grass too.
I don't want fake grass. I want real grass, but I'm not gonna.
Well,
invest
my dog's allergic, so
to grass.
yeah.
Well, that would suck. What would he do without you?
So it's either pay for shots every month or install fake grass.
I don't know if I've ever heard of a grass allergy.
Yeah, he gets all like red. He's a pit bull, so they're prone to allergies and
But grass?
yeah.
That's
He can be
that would
allergic to
awful.
anything.
He'd have to live in the desert if it wasn't for you.
He's lucky. He lives a good life.
I imagine.
He's a Democrat.
A dogocrat?
Yeah. He doesn't pay taxes. I pay for his health care. I pay for his food. I pay for his housing. He fit right in with the Democrats.
Nice.
He really offers nothing. You know. But you know who does offer something? Healthy Cell.
Yes. Who?
Healthy Cell. Healthy Cell.
Healthy Cell.
Healthy Cell. Healthy Cell. Healthy Cell. I personally use the REM sleep, which is, I know Wendy's starting to use it a lot more too. It helps you fall asleep, stay asleep, and when you're like me and you get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, you fall right back to sleep, and you wake up feeling refreshed, which when you don't get a lot of sleep, and you know, I get my 5 to 6 hours, but sometimes you don't feel refreshed. This, for some reason, I don't know the formula, I don't know what it is, but you feel refreshed, which is a huge thing, being able to get through the day. Healthy Cell offers stuff for cardiovascular, for blood sugar, focused recall, calm mood. You can go on their healthycell.com. You can go on and you can build your own package. But I know for Wendy and I, it's the immune boost, it's the REM sleep, and she takes the calm and the focus and recall. So healthycell.com, healthycell.com. Check them out. Once again, another thing just to get you away from big pharma and the sleeping pills and blood pressure medicine, hopefully, that so many people have to take that probably is not good for you, and we'll find out 20 years from now. Dog, shame on you, Brock. Dogs show unconditional love. Not when he's snoring and you're trying to sleep. You know, how many times you wake up with a dog's butt in your face? It's quite a bit for me. He doesn't pick up after himself. I have to do that.
He is a Democrat. That's awesome.
So's the cat. But the cat's more like the dangerous Democrat, right? He just wants to take over. My dog is so dumb. I love him to death. So dumb. We have a doggy door. The cat will use the doggy door, but the dog can't figure it out. He'll watch the cat, but not follow the cat. The cat's just waiting to take over the world. They're the cats are the Marxist. That's what it is. Cats are Marxist.
The show has
Democrats because you got to feed them, you got to take them to the vet, you got to give them a house, but he's looking to take over the world. How dumb is he? He's pretty stupid. He's pretty dumb. Love him to death, but he's dumb. Same thing, no music. When I leave, you count to 5 and talk.
I can't make it that high.
Count to 4 then.
Okay. Welcome back to the Wendy Bell radio program. I am your guest host for the day, for the week, JD Rucker. So be sure to listen in. If you're watching on Rumble, be sure to subscribe if you have not already. Thumbs up if you have not already. We're not going to get anywhere close to Wendy Bell numbers, but that's okay because she's Wendy Bell. And even though I'm not, I can always strive to be like her. I'll tell you who's striving to be like somebody. It's Zohran Mamdani. The problem is that whoever he is striving to be like is not somebody that we want running this nation. Thank God the Constitution prohibits him from being able to run for president, because I would assure you he would. He would be using New York City, his mayoral status there, as a launching pad to become the president of the United States, and he would be a challenge. The guy has an odd charisma about him, and I know if you're listening to this show, chances are pretty darn strong that you don't like him. I don't like him either. But for whatever reason, a lot of people do. I saw one of those man in the street videos, where they just go talk to people randomly. And they were asking people about, New Yorkers, asking them about this and about that and about, are things getting fixed? And they were like, they were proactive in their appreciation of Zohran Mamdani without being able to name a single thing that he'd done for them. They said, oh, well, there's the rent controls. He's doing the rent controls. It's like, is that benefiting you? Well, no, not me personally, but I'm sure it's benefiting somebody. I mean, obviously, it's got to be benefiting somebody. Otherwise, why would he do them? And it's like, oh, well, are things better now? Oh, yeah. No, things are definitely better now. How are they better? They just are. And that's the aura that he has. It's very similar to AOC, very similar to Abdul El Said. And if you want to know where all of this kind of leads back to, it's very similar to, yes, Barack Hussein Obama. Same thing, same cult of personality. Nobody actually ever says, oh, Obama's legacy is this and that, and he was able to accomplish this. They don't actually say, oh my gosh, did you look at what AOC did with this piece of legislation, or that stance, or this? Nobody looks at El Said and says, oh my gosh, he does this or does that. And they definitely can't say it even as he is an active mayor of New York City. They don't say that about El Said either. What they say about these people universally, they being, again, the Democrats, what they do say about these people is that they're working. It's effective. It's doing something. They can't name a single thing, but they know it's got to be something because they like him. Because emotionally, Zohran Mamdani and AOC and El Said and Barack Obama made them feel like, oh, I can like and trust this guy. I can look up to this person. I can admire this person. They want to be led along. They're looking not for a leader, they're looking for a shepherd. And one could argue, I can argue it, that what they're really looking for is something that is there, readily available to them. They're just not looking in the right place. Which brings me to my show, which is where I talk a lot more than I will today about a biblical understanding of the world. But today, right now, here on the Wendy Bell radio program, we're going to keep it political. Let's talk about Mamdani. Let's talk about what's really happening with the mayor, the Marxist, Islamist mayor of New York City. California Post, New York Post, has an article posted early this morning. Mamdani's taking over New York institutions to push his agenda, testing the law's limits. Seems kind of crazy. It's by John Ketchum. Mayor Zohran Mamdani may be an ideologue, but he's also what Niccolo Machiavelli deemed a sensible man, one who will base his power on what he controls. And I cannot stress enough that the control factor, the authoritarianism, this is the hallmark. This is something where you can tell the difference between an actual, like, old school, regular establishment Democrat and these Democrats, these democratic socialists, these Marxists, is that with the regular Democrats, sure, they wanted to control things, but they wanted to control things that actually might make an impact or have some sort of difference in people's lives. They wanted to do it the wrong way, obviously. I don't agree with it, but at least there was some rhyme and reason. With these guys, they want to control everything. It doesn't matter. I mean, before I get deeper into this particular article, I'll tell you a quick story. Last week, Zohran Mamdani announced that they'd be having a parents' day off or something to that effect. Basically, 500 kids on August 16th will be allowed to be watched by the city. You can't make this up. One day and one day only, from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., they will babysit kids for free. Well, on taxpayer dollars. They will babysit 500 kids, ages 6 to 13, I believe, 6 to 12. You just got to sign up, and they will give you a parents' day out. You can go watch a movie, go run some chores, go have a date night. This house being pushed. It's literally a nanny state. And I did this story last week, but I thought about it further, and I'm like, wow, this is so symbolic of what Zohran Mamdani and the Democratic Socialists want. They want a full-blown nanny state. And this was the first blow, the first of many blows, unfortunately, that they're going to be hitting us with. Oh, it's no big deal. Oh, it's just, just a night out. What could be so ugly or nefarious about that? Well, it is symbolic of a few things. Number one, it is symbolic of course, the literal nanny state. Number two, it's symbolic of one of their ultimate goals, which is to have parents across America, especially in New York City right now, but across America in the long term, hand their kids over willingly to the state. That's what this is about. And it's just like, it starts off with, just one day out. Oh, it worked out very well. This is a trial balloon. Is this going to be something that's going to actually work? Is it going to happen? Can they make it happen? And I think they can. They'll see logistically how it works on the 16th. They're doing it one day, but it won't be the last day unless it's a disaster. If it's a disaster, then they'll abandon it. But if it's not a disaster, if no children are harmed in the attempt to build the nanny state, then you will see that this will become a regular thing. It will expand. It will become a program. It'll be something, a hallmark, something they can point to in the Zohran Mamdani thing. And people will talk about, oh, I've got a Zohran Mamdani day off. He's going to take my kids for me and let me have 4 hours to go hang out. So let's go do something. Again, it doesn't seem like a big deal, right? Oh, no big deal. It's just a day out. But if you think like the Marxists, you'll realize that this is far more than that. But let's get back into the article. He's using his time in office to exert greater control over city institutions, sometimes even testing the bounds of the law to build a political machine that can persist beyond his tenure. Is he already looking to move on? Does he want to be governor? Here's the thing. Mayor of New York City is more powerful than the governor of New York. It's the only city that's like that. Mayor of New York City actually has more direct control over the United States of America. If you want to look at the hierarchy of power, of course, you've got the president of the United States, number one. Number two, people often say it's the vice president. Not really, only in the event of the need to become president, but the actual duties of the vice president are actually very minimal. Second most powerful, I would say, would be the Speaker of the House, followed by Senate Majority Leader, and then the Vice President. But right after that, you got two roles that have nothing to do with D.C. as far as the actual control, influence over the United States. That would be the Governor of California and the Mayor of New York City. On both coasts, those two people have more of an influence, more of an impact on national politics and the direction the nation takes than other politicians, both federal and statewide. Just as a quick aside. So when he says that, or when they say that he's trying to persist beyond his tenure, he recognizes the power of being mayor of New York. He knows that he can't do it forever. He's already setting himself up for, or setting up his Marxist Islamists for taking over and continuing whatever he's building today. As the recent congressional primaries revealed, the mayor's grip on the city chapter of the Democratic Socialists of America gives him the power to unseat entrenched incumbents. Though fractured among a red-tinted mosaic of internal caucuses, including avowed Marxist revolutionaries, the DSA closes ranks behind him, marshaling tens of thousands of volunteers for his candidates and causes. Now, he's brought the door knockers inside government through the Office of Mass Engagement. You might be wondering, what is that? Its commissioner, Tasha Van Auken, and Mamdani's housing czar, Sia Weaver, both DSA leaders, are actually entering buildings to organize tenants into unions. Tenants into unions. If you have ever read the Communist Manifesto, this would terrify you, because this is exactly what they want. They want the people united against any form of non-authoritarian government. It's such a contradiction. It makes no sense. And yet that's exactly what they promote. And somehow, some way, this is starting to make sense to Democrats. This is why we're doing the show. This is why I wanted to start this week off on this topic, because this is the overarching problem we're having in the United States of America. This is the most immediate thing that we can address today before the midterm elections. Because if we wait, and I'll be talking about this more during my show, if we wait until after the midterms to focus on 2028, that might be too late. If they can get a foothold now, that's terrifying. Do I have time? Yeah. It's far from apparent that tenant organizing passes muster under the Conflicts of Interest Board rules, which prohibit public servants from using letterhead, title, personnel, equipment, resources, supplies, or technology assets for any non-city purposes. If withholding rent becomes a common tenant union tactic, that will only accelerate building the disinvestment and deterioration. For the mayor of the DSA, for the mayor and the DSA, Freudian slip, however, forcing rent-stabilized property owners into foreclosure or bankruptcy is the point. His housing plan calls for seizing buildings from bad actors' hands and transferring them to responsible stewards like nonprofits. Never mind that there's no reason to think housing controlled by nonprofits or government would produce better conditions. It wouldn't. Government has proven its ineptitude for decades, for centuries. But hey, why not keep trying, right? NYCHA's chronic corruption and mismanagement provide ample evidence to the contrary. They don't just want to control the rents. They want to control the rentals. They don't just want to influence the renters. They want to be able to hold the renters accountable. Renters, landlords, all one and the same as far as the DSA is concerned. If they can control the rental properties, they can control the renters. If they control the renters, they control New York City. After the break, we will talk a little bit further about this housing challenge that Zohran Mamdani is creating. It's only a challenge for us, not for him, right here on the Wendy Bell radio program. I'm actually going to skip that one. I'm not going to talk about
Tell me that you don't think
I don't.
That the school system already isn't the government in any state.
Oh, yeah. That's.
I mean, they're just going to pitch this as an after-school. How's it saying different than an after-school program, where the school system is in charge of the kids?
If we truly understood, and I believe this, there are certain things where you can have debates. Okay, you could debate the efficacy of this or this policy, raise taxes, lower taxes, raise spending, lower spending. But there's one thing that's not debatable, even amongst the Democratic Socialists of America, and that's the idea that government control invariably leads to poor results. And the Department of Education nationwide and even in many states has demonstrated that control of schools has been a disaster. It's demonstrable, it's empirical. And so that's the long answer. The short answer is yes. Were you wanting me to expand on that?
No. I mean, the DSA and Democrats, I don't think are one and the same. I think you're seeing a lot of Democrat pundits come out and actually talk against the DSA, but they're just walking hypocrites. The hypocrisy on both sides. We want government to own anything, but we still want the freedom of speech. Well, you can't have it both ways. Like Wendy and I have a guy that we used to work with. He's a socialist. We literally called him Socialist Ben, and he got fired from his radio gig, and he's starting his own thing. And I offered to help him because, I like the guy as a person. He's a good person, but you can't sit there and say you want to start your own thing and get advertisers and all that, and then say, while saying, you know what, government should own everything. You can't have it both ways. You can't have the corporatism, the entrepreneurial spirit, the capitalistic way of going and getting sponsors and at the same time saying government should run everything. It doesn't work. And I don't know how they don't understand that. And they all agree taxes suck, but then they want to vote for this stuff that says raise your taxes. I get a headache.
Are you trying to find logic?
Yeah.
It's not there.
No, because that doesn't exist. Logic does not exist. We know government's broken. And to say, no, but let's do it more. What has government ever touched that has been beneficial to the people and not littered with fraud?
Stand by.
I'm not going to hold my breath.
Calculating.
You're buffering.
Enhancing.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Yeah, because there is nothing.
Nothing.
That's the whole point of it. There is nothing. They screw everything up. All right, count to 4.
We're coming up on the end of the second hour, and I'm super excited about the third hour because that's when we get to talk about my favorite I shouldn't say my favorite my new favorite Democratic socialist ever. Okay, this lady, co-chair of the Democratic Socialists, she proved over the weekend that she is perfect for the job. And I can't wait to talk about her. We got videos of her that I am going to sit back and laugh at. But in the meantime, to end this hour off, I do want to talk about something a little bit more serious. This is I guess you could say, a deeper understanding of the challenge that we're facing. I have this over at spectator.org. The Marxist Islamist Alliance feeds on the DSA's naivete. I saw a cartoon, just a single panel comic, and it showed the Democrat Party as a little fish, and then behind it was a bigger fish about to eat it. And that was the Democratic Socialists of America. And then behind it was a bigger fish, and it was the communists. They were about to eat the Democratic Socialists of America. And behind it was the huge fish, and it was the Islamists. So Democrats are getting eaten by the Democratic Socialists, who are getting eaten by the communists, who are going to get eaten by the Islamists. And that's where this red-green alliance of Marxism and Islam that's where it's heading. The Democrats are going to be the vessel to get the DSA in there. The DSA is going to usher in the communists, the Marxists, and then they will all fall to, and I say this as if it's going to happen, we can still stop it, which is why I do this show. By golly, we want to stop it. And any idiots out there that say, oh, but if it's going to take down the Democrats, then so be it. Let's let it happen. Let it play out. Let them eat themselves. That's not how it will end. Look at the last 1,400 years. And if you can look at the last 1,400 years and tell me that you still think it's a good idea to just let it happen, to not fight at every level. I'm not saying we help the Democrats, but we don't just focus on killing them so we can go after killing these guys. And then when I say killing, I'm using the word figuratively, obviously not talking about violence here. You get the idea. The thing, according to this article by David Catron over at Spectator, the Marxist Islamist Alliance feeds on DSA's naivete. One of my favorite words of all time, by the way, because there's like so many marks in it. It's great. Marx is in like punctuation marks, not like Karl Marx, even though he's there too. When Abdul El Sayed defeated moderate, quote unquote, moderate Representative Haley Stevens to claim the Democratic nomination for the Senate in Michigan, far-left members of the party and their allies in the corporate news media responded. I'm making it bigger so we can all see it. Responded with unabashed elation. It is by no means clear, however, what these people understand the significance of El Sayed's narrow victory, whether they understand. This primary was just the latest manifestation of the collaboration between the neo-Marxist progressives and radical Islamists. This affiliation is neither incidental nor harmless. These extremist groups share two common objectives: the destruction of Israel and the corruption of Western democracy. And let's be clear, it's corruption of Western democracy that's only as a vessel for both of them. Okay. Neither the Marxists nor the Islamists picture a future, a culmination. They don't have the end game of, okay, we're going to control Western democracy. No, they want to control the West. But they want the West to be part of this gobbledygook massive thing where everything is melding. This is why they have the open borders. This is why they have everything. This is why there's 54 Islamic majority nations. Didn't used to be. Hasn't been that way forever. And yet here we are. They want that for the United States. Whereas the Marxists, they look at it as, hey, we're already taken over. We took over Europe. See what's happening there. Took over other aspects of Western culture. We can, in the hopefully their ideal future, we can combine everything together to be under Xi Jinping or whoever the new Mao Zedong is, or working with the Russian Federation, working with all that. They just, both sides, in other words, of the Red-Green Alliance, view taking over Western culture, Western society, Western governance as a stepping stone. You got to remember that. And the sad part is when the big fish does come around, if they, God forbid, if they're able to accomplish their goals and get control, that big fish will eat the Marxists first. After the break, we'll get to my favorite Democratic Socialist of America in the world right after the break. Was that fast enough for you?
Yeah, perfect that time.
I love it. He said something nice to me.
I'm not expecting it the rest of the show, but blind squirrel finds not maybe. I'll tell you what I need to find. Some more MTC Wellness Healthy Fat for Wendy. She's going to come back and still be out, and I'm going to have to hear about it every day. But lucky for you, you can go to thehealthyfat.com/Wendy and get the healthy fat. This is that Dr. Stephen Gundry who lost over 70 pounds. As Wendy would say, he was a fatty Boba laddie until he started doing this. And he's lost 70 pounds, and tens of thousands of people have used it to lose weight. It's a great meal supplement. I've had it before too, and Wendy will tell you it's like having a meal during the show. You can go to thehealthyfat.com. Over 20 million people to date, and you can watch and learn more by watching his videos. Just watch the video, even if you don't buy it. Just watch the video. I've learned so much from him talking about the healthy foods and what isn't healthy, what is healthy. Go to thehealthyfat.com/Wendy. She has here the watermelon lemonade, but the blueberry is fantastic. Healthyfat.com/Wendy. And JD has put his picture on.
I'm not frozen. What does Wendy do when does she just sit there the whole time? Does she ever use the bathroom? I've never noticed.
Yeah.
Huh. What does she put on there? Just empty background?
Yeah.
Huh. I guess I could do that.
Yeah, empty background.
I don't actually use the bathroom though. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, I decided long ago I would stop using the bathroom.
How's that working out for you?
I'd rather not say on air.
Okay. Have you done any? Last time you were here, we talked about the water fast, or 2 times ago. Have you done that recently?
I have. No, I started one about 3 weeks ago, and my potential soon-to-be son-in-law wants to meet, have a dinner.
Do we like him?
I don't know. Never met him.
Oh, you've never met him?
No.
Oh boy.
Oh, yes.
He wants to meet without your daughter there?
Yes.
Oh no. How long have they been dating?
6 months. Yeah.
Are we afraid that he's going to ask for permission and why he wants to meet without her? Okay.
No, he just wants to meet first. Just to
without her as a buffer.
Huh?
Without her as a buffer?
Oh, that's established. My wife's already met him. My wife already went to my
Does
daughter.
Does she like him?
She likes him a lot. Yeah.
Oh, good.
She thought he was great. But they saved me for when let's just say that
we've moved past the just casual dating.
Yeah. I'm the
JD comes in when things are starting to get serious.
Yeah. It's Eric says, I'm going to end up doing an entire show on this meeting with the boyfriend. You know, it's funny because this is about as personal as I ever get. I don't talk about my kids. I had my daughter on my show for about, 4 seconds just because she was bringing me a coffee. And even afterwards, I'm like, I broke my one rule.
Well, see here, the Wendy Bell radio program, these guys pretty much know everything.
Yeah, well, I'll let you know on my show after the meeting if it was a go or a no-go.
When's the meeting?
In 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today, as a matter of fact.
I'll expect a text.
Yeah. I'll let you know.
Just a thumb up or a thumb down.
But then after that, I will start my next water fast. I should have already done it. My wife had Pomodoro last week, and I can't say no to that. When tomatoes are in season and she makes her homemade Pomodoro from scratch.
What is that?
Pomodoro?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't know, you don't know. And I can't. It's
like is it like spaghetti sauce, salsa?
Nobody can be told what Pomodoro is. You just have to taste it for yourself.
I'm sure Google could tell me.
I can tell you what it is, but I won't.
Well, tell me what it is.
It's a pasta, yes.
Okay, well, it doesn't ship. You could have shipped me some.
It's one of those things where you got to eat it fresh. Like I said, she only makes it. She makes it by hand. She makes it, and she only makes it when the tomatoes are fully and properly in season because the flavor changes. So we only get it like twice a year. So couldn't say no to that. It is so good, though. It is very good. Hers is especially good, but if you can get you a good pomodoro even at a restaurant, it's very good. There's no meat in it, so you might not care for it. It's one of the few things that I like that doesn't have meat.
I'm on a high protein diet right now, so
use protein noodles.
I already do.
Yeah. Well, you can always eat. It doesn't have to be. It's like, oh, I can't eat something without protein. You can eat it and then also have a protein.
Right. Well, I wouldn't know. You didn't send me any.
Huh?
You didn't send me
send
any,
it to
so
you.
it doesn't really matter.
I can't send pomodoro to you.
Sure, jar it, seal it, and overnight it.
It's not the same. We don't store it.
How do you know? You've never have it overnighted to yourself.
I have had it overnight and it's not the same.
I don't believe
I've had it the next day and it's not the same.
I don't believe you.
It's got to be eaten fresh.
All right, here we go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wendy Bell, America's anchor mom, fighting for America 1 hour at a time. Welcome to the family.
You know, you can be in the middle of a hurricane.
I'll speak on behalf of my colleagues. I think I can say we are all willing to work with anyone who's serious about doing the work of censoring the American people and advancing progress.
People can yell at you.
So I am going to tell you that we have to Trump.
North is still north. You could be in a thunderstorm.
I rise to announce that I will bring articles of impeachment against the president for dastardly deeds proposed.
North is still north. It doesn't change fundamental things.
We're living in a different world. 70% of Americans say Trump is doing what he promised to do.
And in this business, right is still right. Even if you stand by yourself.
We don't get fooled again. 3 hours of bold truth and excellence. You've just signed up for the WBR Army. Strap in. This is the Wendy Bell radio program. Filling in for Wendy Bell from Patriot TV, J.D. Rucker.
You know, I'm going to have to add to that. Maybe next time. We might not be able to get to it this week, but it should be noted that it's not just Patriot.tv. That is, if anything, that's probably my tertiary site. My two primary sites would be jdrucker.com and discernreport.com. Those would be the best places to find my stuff. Patriot TV is very specialized. We put some of the content there, and I almost never put content that I write there. The best place, the absolute best place, if you just want the best of the best that I ever do, go to jdrucker.substack.com. That's where you can get just the occasional article, probably 1, 2, maybe in a crazy week, you might get 3 of them emailed to you. It is free. You can support me there as well if you want to. But yeah, that's where only I write throughout the day, every day. But when I send it out through the newsletters, because I truly believe in it, and it's usually something that is going to be very, very, very much aligned with what I want to do as far as fixing America, spreading the gospel, combining the two together, which in my ideal world, I'm able to do both at the same time. Of course, it's not my world, but I can still try. I can still hope, and praise God for that. On the other side of the fence, you have the Red Green Alliance. And I know I was going to get into the New Girl, but I want to continue on this article because this really does hit to the core of the issue. This isn't just about the DSA. I think far too much attention is paid to the Democratic Socialists of America, to their takeover of the Democrats. We have to look at all of it as an extended, a long-term alliance between the red Marxists and the green Islamists. And when I say long-term, it'll only be as long-term as if and when they are able to get control, God forbid, then that is when you will see the shift that happens every single time. So back to this article from spectator.org. Like most subversive movements, the Red Green Alliance, as it is sometimes called, began as a small and rather ludicrous group of 4 far-left primary candidates who successfully challenged establishment Democrats in deep blue House districts. We now know them as the Squad: Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Rashida Tlaib, Ayanna Pressley, and Ilhan Omar. They were inevitably the beneficiaries of fawning media coverage from the New York Times, CNN, the communist magazine Jacobin, the Islamist publication Al Jazeera, and Ad Infinitum. The corporate news media, news in quotes, in general, heralded the Squad as a progressive alternative to the alleged evils of Trumpism, and Ocasio-Cortez soon became their mascot. And eventually, if things continue down the road that we're heading, she will become their nominee. The far-left celebration of shared victimhood and anti-colonial rhetoric will provide Islamists with camouflage they will quickly shed if the war on the West succeeds. Did you ever stop to think, and I'm sure you have, but it surprises me that legacy media, which is supposed to be, they're supposed to be just unbiased, and they know they're not, we know they're not, and they know that we know that they're not, but they still pretend, okay? Jake Tapper still pretends. But even with all that happening, right? Even with that pretend, you'd think that they would at least start asking questions. How does Queers for Palestine work actually? That doesn't make any sense. How does this Islamist politician support the LGBTQIA plus supremacy agenda? Doesn't seem to fit, does it? Seems to be there's multiple contradictions, multiple points of difference between the red and the green. They can't be working together because they oppose each other, except for one fact. One thing holds them together, and it has different names, but it is all the one thing. And that is that they may, and they will be in the long term, very much enemies. But in the short term, they have a shared foe. And that's you and me in America and the Christian faith. Between the United States of America, and we'll call it Western society in general, because they're operating outside of the nation as well, but specifically here, the United States of America, our Christian faith, and this joint union that we have, which is to promote freedom, to promote natural rights, to promote limited government, to promote religious rights, all these things, they align perfectly, right? It's rare that you have any contradictions between in our version of the alliance, the conservative, patriotic side and the Christian side. That's not to say that every conservative is a Christian. It's not to say that every Christian is a conservative. But when you do have those two traits, at least one or the other, and they are working together, it makes for a beautiful thing. They being the Red-Green Alliance, are the counter to that. They are the opposition to that. And knowing that they have to work together in order to defeat us, that's why they can be united. They're not united in ideology, even though they pretend to be. They're only united in goal. And if they were ever able to achieve that goal, God forbid, then I don't even want to talk about what that would look like. It would be, I would say, a manifestation of the end times, if I'm speaking biblically. And who knows? Maybe that's how it comes about. We'll see. Back to the article. Speaking of AOC, her utterances reinforced the notion that the Squad was little more than a joke. While discussing climate change initiatives, she brayed. I love that word. That, as I said earlier, that naivete is one of my favorite words. Brayed. Holy cow. I love that word. I'm just saying. She brayed, and I'm not going to try to do an impersonation, even though I really want to bray myself, but whatever. We need to invent technology that has never even been invented. On unemployment, she offered this nonsense. I think the numbers that you just talked about is part of the problem, right? Because we look at these figures and we say, oh, unemployment is low, everything is fine, right? Well, unemployment is low because everyone has 2 jobs. Okay, I'm getting it together. Speaking about the electoral, I'm laughing, but it's sad and it's dangerous. I shouldn't laugh at all, but I can't help it. Speaking about the electoral outlook for the Democrats, she opined, if we work our butts off to make sure that we take back all three chambers of Congress, oh boy, rather, all three chambers of government, oh boy, the presidency, the Senate, and the House in 2020. I'm sorry, but I said earlier that don't hope that we face her in the presidential general election just because she's dumb. She does have personality. She's involved in the cult of personality. She has certain likable aspects of her. And so she would be a formidable opponent. Every now and then I get reminded, holy crap, she really is dumb. Somebody in the chat, which you can always go to if you're listening on the radio, you can join the chat by going to wendybellradio.com. And you'll find the Rumble channel there, which is awesome. Get thumbs up, lots of thumbs up. Somebody in the chat said, who's dumber, AOC or Kamala Harris? And to that, I give you the answer, yes. Anyway, I really don't want to see her as the opponent. Not because I'm scared of her, but because I think that we need to have more of an intellectual discussion about it. I know that sounds crazy. So what do you say, that we need a better Democrat socialist candidate? In a way, yes. Because here's the thing. We have before the midterms, we have one goal only, is to beat the Democrat socialist combination, because that's really what it is now. Okay. Don't say there's Democrats, there's Democrat socialists. It's just one. Okay. It's just one little big thing that we got to fight. So we got to beat them. We got to beat the crap out of them. I don't care if they're establishment, not establishment, radical, moderate, okay, fake Christian, fake, full Muslim, atheist, whatever. We got to beat the Democrats across the board. So that's the only goal. And that's why I'm not ready. I don't think that we as a nation, as a conservative movement, as a patriotic movement, libertarian movement, whatever, I don't think that we are ready to litigate that to the American people. We didn't see this coming. I mean, we saw it coming. I shouldn't say that we didn't see it coming. Even though we saw it coming, we weren't prepared. We've been busy for years, for decades, saying, oh, the Democrats are socialists. They're socialists. They're socialists. Okay, well, now we've got socialists that are turning to become communist Marxists. And yet you still have a whole bunch of conservatives, Republicans, Fox News people, Newsmax people. They're all like, the socialists. Well, wait a second. We were calling like Bill Clinton a socialist. So now we're comparing Bill Clinton to Abdul El Sayed. No, we're not ready for this fight. We don't have the language right. We don't have the talking points down. Our best talking point right now is the same talking point we've been using for decades, which is, well, socialism has been tried and it's never worked anywhere. Okay, none of those things will impact your average independent voter. We're not ready for this fight. But we will be ready, Lord willing, for 2028, which is why, yes, I would like to have somebody that we can battle intellectually. We'll talk more about that. And I promise we are going to get to the worst of the worst. Promise. After this break, this is the last one, and then we're going to get to it. So stay tuned to the Wendy Bell Radio program. I will admit the toughest thing for me is that when I do my show, normally one segment might last an hour and 10 minutes. I have a hard time with the breaks. I'll get used to it by tomorrow.
By Friday, you'll be good.
You want to hear something funny? I've gotten to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 story. This is the 8th story. I have 24 stories. We haven't even gotten to half of the videos that I had selected. And I had a bunch more selected. I just talked too much. Just say, you know what?
Well, no,
say, Rucker, shut up, Rucker.
No, it's you get into talking about these socialists, and it's easy to go off on tangents, right? It's easy to set, because things will pop into your mind, and it's easy to go off on tangents and talk about these idiots. I wish personally that Dr. Simkovich could help these people, right? Like, go in, manipulate their brain, let them see if he can figure out how to deprogram idiocy, but he can't. But if you do have a traumatic brain injury or concussions or anything like that, you can check out the Simkovich Concussion Institute.com. Call them 412-366-3700. Wendy and I have a friend that went who had essential tremors, and he wasn't sure if he was going to be able to help her. And she said she's 85% better and noticeably better. Both Wendy and I noticed when last time we saw her, the difference in her trembling and just the demeanor. You know, you're getting your life back, and sometimes 85% is better than zero, and it lets you forget about necessarily what's going on in your life. So give Simkovich Concussion Institute a call, 412-366-3700, or check out the website, SimkovichConcussionInstitute.com. And it's nothing to mess around with. The concussions, the traumatic brain injuries, and to be able to do it without modern, I hate to say modern medicine, but with pills and all that, and have a guy come in and put his hands in his mouth and figure out and change things. That's just, to me, I call it, I've told him, I was like, it's like a voodoo stuff, but it works. It just straight up works. People come from he was telling me there was a guy who came from Alaska who got kicked by a moose or something like that. It's like, holy cow, that's a pretty far trip.
Well, while you were doing your read, we got a special guest, Shannon Joy. My good friend. I've known Shannon Joy for a decade, and she is one of the most intelligent show hosts out there. Very big honor. Oh, yes. She rated the show.
Rate us?
She is. Say again?
Did she rate us?
She did, and she is an absolute stallion, like top notch. Talk about a freedom fighter. She fights.
We can give some promo. When's her show on?
Her show is on in the middle of your show. So,
well, she should knock that off.
Oh, yes. She is, but she's still awesome. She is the best.
Well, then go back after JD's show.
Right. Well, yeah, no, totally. I've got her on my speed dial on my own channel.
All right, here we go. Count to 4.
I know I promised that we were going to go straight in and to the other one, but by golly, I just can't do enough. I'll tell you up front, the last 2 people on the list, Megan Romer and Hassan Piker, we're going to try to get to them. But during the break, I was reading more about this challenge that they're having with the DSA, and it's worth noting. So we're going to go a little bit further, and then I will get me to some Megan Romer action because it is pretty awesome. I'm going to buzz through this. So after all, back to the article on Spectator. After all, Bernie Sanders had long been in Congress and proudly proclaimed himself a socialist. The Republicans understood that when Sanders ran for president twice, the Democrats themselves sabotaged him both times. Consequently, they assumed that if any Democrat socialist became too ambitious, he would meet the same fate. This was a serious miscalculation. While Biden spent 4 years convalescing in the White House, his auto pen turned out to be a DSA member. That's why we saw so many of the moderate Joe Biden. That's why we saw him go crazy, because it wasn't really him. Then Zohar Mamdani became New York City's mayor. Wade Miller, executive director of the Center for Renewing America, described the significance of this. Because he was born abroad to non-American parents and internationally groomed into neo-Marxist ideas, Mamdani's ties to the constitutionally rooted fabric of Western civilization and what Charlie Kirk referred to as the American way of life are largely non-existent. This is evident in his official swearing-in ceremony, in which he placed his hand on the Quran rather than the Bible as part of his oath of office. More recently, Mamdani used official mayoral resources to commemorate Nakba Day. Nakba Day is an Arabic term meaning calamity that is strongly associated with Palestinian jihadist movement. It refers to the reestablishment of Israel in 1948. And that is the perfect segue to, again, bringing in what I consider to be my favorite new member of the DSA, Megan Romer. Let's go ahead and play clip. Let's skip 3. Go straight to clip 4, please.
But we do believe in taxing the hell out of millionaires. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, what does taxing the hell out of them mean?
Yeah, you know, I don't have like a solid, but I think.
But shouldn't you?
I
mean, if you're the co-chair of the DSA, shouldn't you be more specific than just taxing the hell out of something? What exactly do you mean?
So again, it's democracy, right? And we have to look at what we need to spend and what we need. We don't want to depend on the existence of millionaires because that means people are still getting exploited. So so yeah, we need to look at what we need to pay for in the interim, what sort of tax base we need for that to happen, and then and build from there.
I definitely feel a heck of a lot less intelligent listening to that for now the third time. I had to hear it the first time. I had to double check it the second time to make sure that it was radio suitable. Now I heard it again, and I might have to I need an aspirin as quickly as possible. Somebody give me one because that gives me a headache. And believe it or not, that is like not even the worst. She's got 2 more clips that we're going to play after the break that are actually dumber. But let's break down what she said there. So number 1, she's deer in the headlights. And last week she was a superstar. DSA people were talking about her. Oh my gosh, look how she handled her Fox News interview. You know, I don't remember who it was, Shannon Bream or somebody was like, do you believe in abolishing the Senate? She said, absolutely. It's like, oh, wow, that was so good. She's unapologetic. She's so brave and courageous and whatever. It's like she said one word, and then she got asked, well, what about abolishing jails? She's like, well, eventually, it's part of the long-term plan. What about open borders? Yes, well, an amnesty and open borders, it's a process, but we'll get to there. She gave answers. They weren't great answers. They were just honest answers. But now she's stuck trying to make up answers. Now she's stuck, and this is on a softball super friendly. That was, I believe, the New Yorker, if I recall. Some left-wing rag that was interviewing her, and she's still, it might have been New York Mag. Either way, very, very soft questions, and she fumbled. She was like a deer in the headlights. And I'm going to play 2 more clips after the break, which are even worse. But her name is Megan Romer, Romer. She's one of the co-chairs of the National Democratic Socialists of America. And she is quickly being called Velociraptor, which I'll explain after the break as well. She's going to be replaced. I think that was sort of the last straw. She was the it girl last week, and I'm sure by this weekend we will have a new, quote unquote, better representative of the Democratic Socialists, and they'll keep recycling through them until they find somebody who can actually, I don't know, answer questions without sounding like a total moron, which is hard when you're trying to defend the Democratic Socialists of America. So more Megan Romer after the break here on the radio, the Wendy Bell radio program. I said, here on the radio.
Well,
yeah.
Not a total lie.
It is there. It's true. It's half true. Yes, make fun of me, Brock. Now's your opportunity to make total fun of me.
No, that's not my style.
Okay.
I'm not going to say you've been screwing things up the whole show. Why would I say that?
You just screwed up. Wendy just lost her contracts. It's over. Thanks, Rucker. The good news, at least for me. Do you have any more sponsors?
I do.
Okay.
Do you want to see one?
I do. Go ahead.
It's moregainsfitness.com. I'll be honest. I'm a buck guy.
Okay, I'm out of here.
I'm a buck guy, and this lady, moregainsfitness.com. Check her out. Her 90 night program. She can apparently give you a booty. Look at the difference between this booty and that booty. I'm sure this is what she wants to hear, but this is Wendy's favorite. This girl. Kelly just whoops people into shape. 3 guys that did it. This guy's nuts. Now, granted, that's probably longer than 90 days, but check out her 90-day night. They'll do the body composition. They'll do the you can talk to her about what you need to eat. You can talk to her about the workouts you need to do to get the muscles and get the shape that you want. Moregainsfitness.com. But some of the transformations that she's had, this lady's nuts too. Look at that. The difference. Moregainsfitness.com. Moregainsfitness.com. I still say that Kelly could kick my butt.
All I got to say is
over and over. But that girl got a nice behind.
Well, thank you.
Not you. That woman. I can define a woman. You're not it. That woman has a nice behind.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Huh?
Yeah, I'm not,
That work?
If I wasn't married, I'd give her a call.
You wouldn't give me a call. Oh my gosh, we went there.
No, we didn't.
I went there. I've been there.
I'm secure enough to say that she has a nice. This guy Jack too, man. That's what I'm gonna get to. I'm gonna get ripped.
Holy cow! We need thumbs up. I am ashamed. Last time on a Monday, we got over 2,000 thumbs up, and we're sitting there at like 1,300.
What do you mean, poor Kate? What do you mean, poor Kate? I said if I wasn't married, I'd give her a call.
You still shouldn't say such things.
Why?
Because it's.
Oh, I'm sure my wife said it about people. I can appreciate a good-looking woman. I always look at this. Anyone can window shop, just as long as you don't go in and buy.
See, I'm that weird guy. I don't even window shop.
You mean to tell me you see a picture of a good-looking woman, you can't say, "Oh, she's a good-looking woman."
Nope, I move on.
Well,
I know I'm the weird one, but
yeah.
That's part of my garbage in, garbage. And that's nothing to do with your sponsor or anything like that. I mean, you're right, great butt. Not gonna, but yeah, I'm not a window shopper.
That's the easiest way to put it. I wouldn't be if my wife says he's a good-looking man. It's not like I'm like, oh my god.
Oh, I know. Again, I'm like a prude, man.
Yeah, Brock, but do you look at other dogs? I do.
No, you don't.
Stop
it.
I go to Wendy's house. I play with the dogs. I saw my neighbor walking the dog. I walked outside.
Oh my gosh.
To meet the dog.
Blasphemy. My dogs, if they ever smelled another dog on me, they would flip out.
Oh, I get the TSA treatment when I come home.
Oh, it's the worst.
See, my dog just thinks every dog wants to play. Or not even that. Every animal wants to play with him. He's that dumb. The cat has bloodied him. He got bloodied by a raccoon. He's just...
My dogs are wimps.
So's mine.
No,
the cat's 10 pounds. Literally whoops the crap out of him every day.
There's no such thing as a wimpy pit bull. Just to be
no,
clear.
He is.
No. I know your dog better than you do.
No, you don't. You want to break into my house?
If
you have treats or one of those plastic bags you get from the grocery store, you can do whatever you want. Give him a treat. You could steal everything in my house.
A treat? I'll bring him a steak.
Wave a plastic bag at him. He's off. He is.
I do love dogs. Remind me to tell you next time about the dogs.
I come home. He doesn't even get up when the door opens. Like, what kind of guard dog are you? You know, at least wake up, for God's sakes. Maybe throw
Remind
a
me
bark
to tell
here.
you the dog study. Very.
What's
important.
that?
Remind me to tell you about the dog study.
I don't know if I want to hear it.
You do. It's good. It's amazing, actually.
All right. Count of 4.
Megan Romer. Remember that name, because I think that after next week, it will be completely forgotten. They'll still keep her around. She'll still be working on strategy and stuff like that. But my goodness, she turned out to be not very good at explaining the ideas with there's just even the tiniest pushback from a very favorable journalist. Let's go ahead and play whatever. I think it's clip 5. Is that the next Megan Romer clip? Clip 5, please.
Why are you for open borders? I think to a lot of ears it sounds like a John Lennon song, not a political reality.
Well, John Lennon was very popular. I think, again, all of these policy points, they're all part of this long-term goal where we are putting huge amounts of resources into alleviating poverty, into stopping destabilization of countries internationally that are causing huge migrant flow. But, most people in the U.S. are here because of a prior period of unrestricted immigration or of much looser immigration. We're not saying throw the gates open. We're saying let's do that. Let's look at where this system is really flawed, really problematic.
I think that's called immigration reform.
It is, but we think that you have to look at all of these things from first principles, right? We started here from first principles. So what do we want out of an immigration system? Let's start there. That doesn't mean thinking from just throwing open the borders and then building from the ground up. It means reforming the system we have while we rethink the system, while we build this new one from the ground up, and then hopefully eventually flipping the switch.
The reason that they're calling her Velociraptor is because she has that Velociraptor claw, which when we watch the next clip, I want you to look for the Velociraptor claw that is it looks very, very potent, very dangerous. I would not want to get hit by the Velociraptor claw. You notice that she invoked first principles. Here's the thing is that Megan Romer is talented at sort of doing that academic downplay. She's probably a good lecturer, but she's not good on camera as a representative. I hope they keep her. I hope that because they are democratic socialists, I hope that they look at it as, oh, well, she's still, she just needs a little bit more practice, and we're still going to keep using her because she does make the argument for us. Notice that she was hemming and hawing, and that wasn't the worst one either. The last one wasn't the worst one. That one wasn't the worst one. We're about to play the worst one. But before we get to that, I want you to think back when we were talking about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And in case you missed the first hour when we were talking about her, I had noted that there is a very particular reason. When she was asked, are you still a member of the DSA? She said, well, I'm a member of the New York chapter, not of the national DSA. Well, there's a reason for that. And this is the part where it really bugs me that the DSA has to, whatever your perspective is on AIPAC or aid to Israel or anything like that, or the Iran war or anything, I think we can and should very easily all agree that it's probably not a good thing if on October 8th, 2023, the day after the October 7th terrorist attack, that you would go and rally in support of Hamas to cheer on the murderers and rapists that were the kidnapping and murdering and killing people, taking civilians. These weren't like members of the IDF or Mossad or anything like that. No, these were just people living their lives. And that's the occasion where the DSA members thought, I've got an idea. Let's go rally for Hamas. I thought it was pretty dumb, but then again, I'm not stupid. So let's play clip 6, I think.
Support of Israel in any form, essentially a red card in DSA. As I understand it, in 2024, DSA's National Political Committee withdrew its endorsement of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez over her support for a House resolution stating that denying Israel's right to exist is a form of anti-Semitism, and her local chapter stuck with her. And this was an argument that continued on. Where are you on it?
Yeah, so that was like a very complicated and very like inter-DSA bureaucratic question, but convention decided that, yeah, this is a solid red line. No defense or economic support for Israel.
Does Israel have the right to defend itself, according to DSA? What is the position that DSA is headed toward here? Is it for a two-state solution? Is that or is it a binational, one-state solution? What in fact is the position of DSA?
Yeah, so our position is a free Palestine with the capital in Jerusalem. And so I think that could be safely read as a one-state solution.
So the Camp David accords that were being negotiated at the beginning of the century under the Clinton administration, had the Palestinians accepted it, that would have satisfied you?
Good question. I need to look at what the actual specifics there were. I don't know them off the top of my head. But so when you say, does Israel have the right to defend itself? Peoples have the right to live in safety. Absolutely. But if that safety means doing genocide to somebody else, then no, that's not defensible.
Daria-Liza Avila Chevalier recently won a primary election in New York City and is almost sure to win the general election. She attended an October 8th pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas rally, which many people saw as a justification of the October 7th attack. And some of her tweets have been extremely ugly on this score and on others. Do you fully support her in all these activities and what she's had to say?
I think Daria-Liza can speak for herself, certainly, and I think she's apologized for some pieces of that and has been
not for attending that rally.
Unapologetic about other pieces of that. And
do you support her yourself in that?
Yeah, I do.
Why?
Yeah. Because
in other words, you would have gone to that rally had you been able.
That's a good question. I probably would have. Yeah. I don't live in New York City, so I wouldn't have.
One day after the slaughter of 1,200 people and taking of over 200 hostages, you would have come and rallied behind Hamas.
I think that October 7th was largely inevitable. If you put people in an open air concentration camp and you deprive them of rights, of dignity, of food, of the ability to live in safety, you have to expect that they are going to not take that for that long. And that is not defending any harm of civilians or of non-combatants.
Well, sure.
That is. Do you think it is?
You're saying you're supporting it.
I'm saying that I think it was inevitable. I think that you cannot put people in a cage and expect them not to revolt. And I think that that supporting the civilians, the non-combatants, the children who are being killed, that's really the primary thing.
So you live in upstate New York. You just
I almost have nothing. But I do. I got something. I want to watch more, and just not just the claw. Okay, the Velociraptor claws. That's pretty. It's entrancing, but beyond the claw, beyond the claw, the hypocrisy. This shows that, and this is why again I hope that she does continue to be their spokesperson. Because number one, you're asking about the Camp David Accords, which she technically got wrong, but whatever. She could have attacked there, but she didn't know. She wasn't alive back then. I doubt. She was probably not born, or at least not an adult at that point. So I can't really blame her for not knowing about that. But notice that she said, and they say these certain things very clearly, but in an ambiguous enough manner that they're hoping that some voters will miss it. That's the notion that she and they want a one-state solution of a free Palestine. So what does that mean for the Jews? And they won't answer that question, because the answer to that question is, well, they're allowed to also live in a free Palestine. which is to say that they can't live in a free Palestine or really anywhere else. They would have to be removed because in a quote unquote free Palestine run by Hamas, then they are by government decree facing the same persecution that Christians in Nigeria are facing, or that non-Muslims in Iran are facing. And these being Jews, it would be actually far worse for them if the DSA were to get their way. This is why they promote Hamas. It's not like, oh, well, you have to assume that if you're going to keep people in an open air cage, as they like to say Gaza is, if you're going to keep people in an open air cage, of course, their natural instinct would be to leave that cage, take random innocent people and either murder them or kidnap them, hold them hostage as sexual slaves for hundreds of days. I mean, who wouldn't do that if they were stuck in an open air cage like Gaza? That's what the DSA wants you to believe. It was inevitable, she said. I'm not trying to tell you what to think about Israel or the Jews or the Gaza situation. But I will tell you unambiguously that the DSA's stance on this topic is indefensible. And here's what makes it worse. This is their stance on everything. Their true stance, what they would envision if they were to get power. God forbid. But if they were to get power, then their completely illogical, asinine perspective on the terrorist attack of October 7th, on supporting Hamas vehemently, that is a representation of everything else they believe in. This is why they say, abolish the Senate. This is why they say, defund the police. This is why they want open borders. This is why they want to take the presidency and the Supreme Court and drop them down a few notches, make them subservient to the Congress, the Parliament, whatever you want to call it, in their vision. They aren't just against America. They are specifically against the United States Constitution. And while some people, I would say maybe even most Americans, would be like, oh, that's not as, hating America is worse than hating the Constitution. That's not true. Because hating and destroying the Constitution is hating and destroying America. So you can be opposed to America, but the Constitution can stop you from destroying America. On the other hand, if you can destroy the Constitution, then you will destroy America. They know that. They know very clearly. That's why they're wanting to do it. After the break, we will get to, it actually gets worse, one level worse. We'll get to the actual worst of the worst representatives of the Democratic Socialists of America. That is Mr. Hassan Peter Parker. After the break. Oh, goodness. I hope nobody clips that one. Hassan Parker. Wow. They're going to start calling him Spider-Man, thanks to Rucker. Good job. Good job.
He is nuts. He's straight up nuts.
He is. Hold on real quick. Do you have any more spots or can I say?
No, go ahead.
All right. I am going to we're going to try this. We're going to try it before we go back on radio. We are going to start streaming so I can say hello to the JD Rucker audience because it's live. We're going to continue the simulcast for this last segment between the Wendy Bell radio program and the JD Rucker show. And then Wendy Bell radio program will zap over to continue. So I'm just going to be continuous, nonstop.
Well, you have to get out of the Wendy Bell show.
No, I don't have to because it's two separate instances.
No, what I'm saying is you end the radio show. I'll take you off screen here.
Yeah.
And then give Amanda a chance to raid your stream.
Yeah, or something like that.
No, that's exactly like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Maybe
So
something close
don't
to
run
that.
it up against the clock on this one.
I don't run it. Do I ever do that?
Yeah, every time.
I did not. That one was. I gave you like 3 seconds.
It's gonna be a long week.
Last time, didn't I? I did. No, I gave you like 7 seconds last time.
No, you didn't.
No, I'm talking about at the bottom of the hour.
Yeah, you gave me 4 seconds.
Yeah, like 4 or 7, something like that.
6, 7, whatever that stupid thing
It's a different
was.
time zone. Okay, it's a different time zone. That's the
Same hours though.
Yeah, but it's I mean,
Here comes the
eventually
liberal.
it's going to happen.
Here comes the liberal, J.D. Rucker, trying to make sense of something that doesn't make sense.
I want my dog bones. Let me tell you real quick. Okay, you ready? So they did this massive study of dogs, and they're trying to understand the mentality of how dogs see us, right? And they're like, how they, do they see us as? So after this long, exhaustive study, they determined that good dogs, see their masters as literally their masters, like almost to the point of they worship us similar to gods. Like this is why you see those videos of how the dog will be playing with the human, sleeping with the human, and then the human goes off to work and the dog just sits there in front of the door for 8 hours straight, or the dogs that after their owner dies, they die, sometimes like on the grave or whatever. They won't leave their owner's body. It's a worship thing. Like they actually look up to you and they see their master, their superior. They did the same study, or the same people did a study on cats. Do you know how cats perceive us?
Enemies?
Nope. Cats perceive us as those strange, hairless, tall cats. They view us as their equals.
Not in my house. My dog doesn't worship me. He's like, oh, he's gone. Now I can go back to bed.
Fish view us as interdimensional creatures.
Are we talking aliens?
Not today. Maybe tomorrow.
All right. I'll give you the same count of 4.
Hello, my friends, and welcome back. One last time. We're going to do it live one last time and see if I'll get invited back for tomorrow. Thank you all for joining us today. My name is JD Ruckers, filling in for the Wendy Bell team, for Wendy Bell herself, who is off doing something amazing, I'm sure. I just don't know what it is, but I'm sure whatever it is, that it is amazing. Hassan Piker, if you want to know, because we've talked about how today Democrats have shifted gears. Democratic socialists have shifted gears. The Marxists are shifting gears. Well, what does that exactly mean? Well, I'll tell you exactly what it means. It means that they recognize that they actually do have a chance. They're trying to get strategic. And this is both a strength and a weakness. It's a strength because, okay, they're going to be playing more of the political game. AOC has been doing that for years. Now the rest of them are starting to come around. But it's a weakness because it makes it to where they have to sort of fiddle around with it, sort of double talk. We saw a lot of that just now with Megan Romer. But if you want to understand what the DSA really feels, what the true culmination of the Red-Green Alliance looks like, and when I say culmination, I should say strategy, not culmination. If you want to know what they really want to do. You just got to turn to Hassan Piker. Yes, he is just a podcaster, but he is a super popular podcaster on their side. He is so powerful and so revered that no Democrat will speak against him. So I shouldn't say no Democrat, no Democratic socialist will denounce him. They will all campaign with him. They consider him to be the stamp of approval, their ideological leader. And unfortunately, legacy media is already starting to say, oh, hey, I think that's probably makes sense. And they are actually doing it as well. Rolling Stone fawns over Hassan Piker, who said America deserved 9/11. And I would love to give you some clips. Unfortunately, the guy is so foul-mouthed that I can't even do that. I cannot give you clips that show, what he's saying, what he's doing, because he's just that bad at it. He's hideous. The guy's disgusting, but even funny part is that even the I had noticed this before, the town hall editor's note, this story contains explicit language. Oh, great. So I guess we're not going to show a lot of this on screen. As a matter of fact, let me take it off screen because we are PG-13, but I'll read parts of it to you. Rolling Stone magazine is fawning over socialist Hassan Piker. See, there we go again. Like I said earlier, socialist, really? He's just a socialist, Hassan Piker? No, he's a radical Marxist Islamist, period. People say, oh, but he's not really an Islamist. He's a secularist. No. Discussion for another day. Put a pin in that one, and we will talk about that later this week. But he did say that America deserved 9/11. The magazine, again, Rolling Stone, ran a cover piece on Piker, who has campaigned with Michigan U.S. Senate candidate Abdul Al-Said and Democratic Rep. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And to be clear, he will go with all of them. Bernie had a chance to denounce him. He did not. The only one out there really vocal about him is, of course, John Fetterman. And no, we'll talk about him later this week, too. When asked about his remarks about America and 9/11, Piker told Rolling Stone, I stream for 8 hours a day, 7 days a week. I'm going to say dumb stuff. Yeah, well, that's not an apology. That's not an excuse. That is still you being awful. He is the worst. I'm just going to leave it at that. Because here's the thing. You can, if you want, you can assume that, oh, he's just a media personality. But he's the one that if you really want to dig deep, if you really want to know what the DSA wants, what their plans are, then you have to go to him. He's the guy that knows he's their thought leader. People say that's Bernie Sanders. No. It's not Bernie Sanders. He's kind of like their mascot. People say it's AOC. No. She's like their representative. She's their power broker. The ideological leader of the Marxist movement in America is Hassan Piker. And I would argue, we'll talk about this more tomorrow, I would argue that as a result of this status, that he is possibly, likely, almost certainly aligned with Satan. There, I said it. Take from that what you will. Thank you all for listening. Come back tomorrow. I'll be hosting here all week on the Wendy Bell radio program. My name is JD Rucker. God bless you and God bless the United States of America.